He's an action figure poser, which means posing action figures is his specialty. SeanSolo8 and it's Vern from OakhurstStudios, who is a master at complaining about pretty much everything. And together, they are the Toy Duo. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. We are the Toy Duo. As you can see, Sean is not here today. Ways of the Sith is filling as you might be like the fill-in Sean Solo from now on.
I'm the third wheel of the show.
And then coming on with us is Steve-O from Collecting Star Wars. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on with us.
Steve-O.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah. You know,
Always
this is my
fun.
first
Always a
time
good
like
time.
actually interacting with Steve. I don't think we've ever been on the stream before.
No, we
talk all
bro.
the time, but yeah,
Oh.
this is the first time.
Oh, I feel like I'm
Special
making
moment.
a connection. I just ditch out.
Yeah, right. We'll just throw it out. Me and Seth together at last, the long-awaited.
Anyway, so
Sweet.
this is the Toy Duo. We're going to talk about all things Star Wars, Marvel, GI Joe, Action Force. We're going to talk about action figures, toys, collecting, everything we can think of. And there might be a little bit of a rant today, but we'll see how that goes.
Ooh.
More than
So
likely.
anyways,
More than likely.
yeah, so what I want to do is just say hi to some people who showed up in the chat really quick, because as you know, when you do a live stream, the most important part of doing a live stream is the audience and the people. And I really want to say, like when you're watching and you're in the chat, please comment and stuff like that. I know I've been pretty bad about like leaving comments up for very long, but I'm gonna try to fix that. But anyways, if I skip your comment or whatever, then it's just because I'm getting older. I'm not wearing my glasses when I'm doing this. But
You got too many friends,
so-
Vern. You can't get them all in. You got too many
You're
friends.
all right. G-Force is here
G-Force.
saying hello. Of course, he's saying hi to Sean. Sean's not here, but he did say hi to Steve and Ways of the Sith.
What's up, G?
Yep. Connor from Full of
Connor.
Fingers. He doesn't like to spread rumors, but I heard Steve-O was the body double used for most of the volleyball scenes in Top Gun. I actually had heard exactly the same thing.
That's a rumor
definitely.
I'll allow to spread. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get that out there as much as you can. Tweet
You
it.
got it.
What's up, Duff
So
Man?
Duffin Dioramas.
Man.
Rick from Left Coast Graphics. He had his big
Rick.
theory show on earlier. I don't know if anybody picked it up, but he claims to have made a bunch of theories last year, but he's going to have to prove it to me. Because that's like me saying like, well, last year I said that Boba Fett or Mandalorian was going to ride the Mythosaur, right? I could say that now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking for the audio, the video clip of it, and I haven't found it yet. So I'm like, did I just think it to myself?
No, it was in one of the shows. I want to say it was in one of the three-man shows, but definitely,
Yeah.
I remember talking about it.
Maybe it could have been. I tried looking through a few of the episodes, finding
We
like some
we were all talking about it like right after Boba happened. Like, oh,
Is that
she
what it
brought
was?
the story. She brought the story up. He's gonna ride that thing. Like, that's what we were all talking about. Like right around that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah, where do you go after the Rancor, the Mythosaur? That's where you got to go.
Right. You got to go there. Left Coast has another theory. I'm not going to read it out loud.
Toy Minaj.
8016, thanks for joining us.
Nice.
Let's see. Rolando is here.
Yo, Rolando.
Hello.
All the cool
And,
kids are here. Nice.
Yeah. Brian Myers.
Oh, Dad.
And
Cool, right.
we got Miriam coming in. So it's interesting because in California, they have the WonderCon, which is like the partner thing for San Diego Comic-Con. Used to be up in the Moscone Center, I think up in the Bay Area by San Francisco, but they were doing construction on it and they moved it to Anaheim, which is literally like not even 2 hours from here. And I had thought about like wanting to go, but the reason why I didn't is because a couple of years ago when they first started doing Comic-Con again after COVID, they did like a winter show and it really wasn't, that spectacular. It was like You know, a lot of like there was a lot of stuff there, but it was kind of like like smaller retailers, smaller stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in like this like arcade that they had set up at the time. So it was kind of like, well, you know, I'm not
There
gonna
you go.
pay money, drive 2 hours for that anyways.
But I saw that a lot of the people that do like customs, like Centerpoint Studios and stuff like that, they had set up a booth and we're selling, you know, like custom sculpts and different stuff like that. I guess trying to, you know,
Oh,
get
that
their
would
name
be
out there. Yeah.
I had always wanted to see about like maybe getting some YouTubers together, people like in the community, and see if we could just set up a booth somewhere and just like advertise like our channels or whatever, and just talk to people.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah,
who
They
maybe,
could. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be fun to do, but I don't know how hard it would be to actually get like the table or the booth like there.
It depends on like where it is. I think though it's very like as long as you fill out all like the proper things and do it all, it shouldn't, you know, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con's impacted, so I think they're probably just looking for like elites or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
and like probably this WonderCon or something like that, you could do it at. I know like New York Comic Con
Probably.
last couple of years too. Like it's you like they have random people that like should never be at a Comic Con, and like there they are with their booth set up, and you're like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Gary.
Gary's Grails is here. Hey,
Hey, Gary.
so Waze was on here before, and we talked about how he got kind of into collecting and what his inspiration was and stuff like that. So, Steve, I just kind of want to go over how you got into collecting and like where, like if you restarted, where you're at now, type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. I was kind of reflecting on this recently. My oldest son is 18, so he's graduating next month or 2 months, and so that's sort of a pivotal moment where we're launching him from the nest and everything. So just thinking back on all the time that we spent, and collecting for me really has orbited around time with my boys, my 18-year-old and my 16-year-old. Since they were little, they loved going to Comic-Con, Tampa Comic-Con with me. That was always a thrill. It was always free for them. So economically, the price was right. We'd go and have a great time. And that just built on our bonding and our shared love for toys and Star Wars and all kinds of Marvel and genre stuff. So in that, you know, buying toys for them and then buying toys for me and then sort of building a collection between the three of us has just been a really big part of the way that we bonded. And specifically, of course, this is kind of the same for a lot of us when COVID hit. That's when it really, the nostalgia factor kicked in, and the longing to get into a community and to get connecting and to shop when you can't go somewhere in person. So you're doing it online. That really rocketed my amount of stuff that I got in the collection. And we really started reshaping the collection room built around that. And that's when we started YouTube. So the boys were really instrumental with me in bonding and making the channel. And I'm really glad that we did that, because now as they're 18 and 16, it's harder and harder to spend time with them. They've got their own schedules and their own social lives and their own interests, and we're certainly proud of all that they're doing. But for me, collecting was really an impetus to bond with my kids more, and I'm glad that they did now that they're 16 and 18. I'm glad
It's really awesome.
And we still get to do it a little bit, but not as much. They'll still go to Comic-Con with me, but you know, I cherish that.
So are they?
Yeah.
So they're at the age. Are they like at the age where they're like maybe saying, "I'm not really into this, going to the store and the toy hunts, and
yeah.
I don't want to be on camera being seen with like these action figures because it's like not." Are they at that age?
Yeah, they're at the it's not cool stage, but they'll come back. You know, they'll come back around.
You always come back.
That's
So
right, always did.
So your oldest is going to go to college.
Yep, he's going to go. Looks like University of South Florida, which is where both my wife and I both got degrees from there. So we're excited to get to go there. Yeah.
Is that going to be like a commute or stay in a dorm situation?
It might be a little bit commute at first, maybe the first year, and then he'll move out. We're still weighing those options right now. So he's got a girlfriend in the mix too. That's part of the equation. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
So do you think he'll take any collectibles with him to put on the shelf in his new place? That's where I was going with that.
I think the one thing that teenagers that I've seen don't grow out of is Legos.
Yeah.
They stay in that, and that's hot. So he'll take some of those with him and decorate his shelves in his room for sure. So that's one aspect that I think he still buys Legos and puts those together.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so cool that like I don't have any kids. I know Vern has kids and grandkids, but I think that's special that you're able to like share that. You know, like I have a niece, and that's kind of what I've been doing with her. It's like I started her. I've been getting her the Star Wars dolls that have been coming out. So I got her the Ahsoka,
Cool.
and I just ordered her the Bo-Katan one. So like slowly, like this can be me and her thing. You know, like
Yeah.
I'll get her to watch Star Wars, and you know, my own way.
Pass on what you have learned, as Yoda said.
Yeah. So I think that's cool.
It is.
So with your kids, like seeing, oh, sorry, I keep dropping something. With your kids seeing like the YouTube channel and how it's like grown and stuff like that, and it's got to a point where it's monetized now and stuff like that. Does that inspire them to want to branch off, maybe make their own channels for some type of content? Have they been thinking about anything like that?
Yeah, well, it really was my youngest son's idea, and Nathan, he said we should do a YouTube channel about movies, and we ended up doing it more on collecting. So he's definitely has that that entrepreneurial kind of idealistic. We could do this, you know. So I think it's been a positive example. You put a little work in it and have a little fun, and you know you can create something worthy. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I got to ask you this question: what's the oldest thing you have in your collection?
The oldest thing I have in my collection, probably the only real Star Wars item I have left over from childhood. Somehow,
I just wanted to see a Star Wars video game in the back.
I was able to hold on to the Bespin Luke. So this is my original Bespin Luke from 1980.
Is that the original pistol and saber?
No. No, that's reproduction. But he is a little 5-year-old Steve-O's Luke Bespin. So he's the only one that I have left. The pinball machine's from '99, so he's a little bit older than that. What's the oldest thing you got, Vern? I know you got some stuff going back to the 70s and maybe 60s. What do you got?
I have probably it's going to be a tie between like Mego Incredible Hulk from like I think 1974.
Nice.
I think this one this says, and then way up there I have vinyl Kamen Rider Japanese superhero thing, the yellow dude, and then I got a Kamen Rider back in the corner, and those are from like the 70s as well.
That's awesome.
But those
very
are
cool.
But the
there you go.
That's it. These are the original ones that like I had when I was a kid, and these went everywhere with me. So like happened when I was like moving, I happened to find them in a box and was like, I am never getting rid of these. Like,
nice.
So these are the only ones.
That's a great find.
That's the only ones I still have, like from a kid, you know, like my original stuff. So
that rocks. WrestleMania 3 was the greatest.
I do have
I'm such a wrestling fan. That's what I was telling Vern. Like that's what I was like into collecting. And Vern's like, so why don't you collect wrestling figures now? And I was like, dude, there's so much. Like, so much. So
see, because to me, that's like saying, like, well, what if I had 0 Star Wars figures? Right? Like I had those when I was a kid, but I just grew up and decided I'm never collecting Star Wars again.
Yeah, but I have a couple things, and I have like memorabilia, you know what I mean, from wrestling. Yeah. But I think like there's just so many figures and so much stuff. I don't have room for all that. And a ring, and I could.
Yeah,
I could.
And nothing's gonna top those two, no matter what. Those two are gonna be.
Yeah. Like even the newer ones, like I'll see like a new Hogan or a new Andre, and it's like, I don't need them. You know what I mean? Like I have memories with these ones, so like for me, that's good enough.
I think it's cool when you have like something that you've like carried like since you were a kid, right?
It's so cool that you have stuff from when you were overseas that you had when you were a kid. Like I think that's so awesome. Like you know some of the Sentai stuff and Kamen Rider and all that. Like that's so cool.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
Journey, right?
Yeah. What's crazy about that is like we were military, so like it was I wasn't in the military, but like my dad, and so when we moved from Okinawa back to the States, it's like all our personal belongings had to fit in these crates, and there was like a weight limit or something like that. So I remember the first thing to get excised was going to be like my toys. So it's like I had to. There was a time I was like picking and choosing the stuff that I was going to put in my box, right? And so stuff got left behind.
Choice.
It was kind of crazy. I do have a GI Joe from like the 60s. That was like a hand-me-down because, of course, that was one of my brother's they don't know I have it, so I'm not going to tell them.
All right, Vern, I got a very important question for you, Vern.
A what?
So Okinawa,
Okay.
awesome. I've never been. I'd love to go, but what I need to know is how authentic is Karate Kid 2?
Okay, so we lived on a military base. I don't know if no, you know what? So from what I understand, like Okinawa has become kind of like the tropical vacation paradise of that part of the world. So if you're in like Australia, whatever, or Japan or whatever, there's like resorts there now. It's kind of like going to maybe the Bahamas or something like that. But yeah, you know, like the military bases were like, there was housing, there were stores, and then like we would go off base, and it was very, very different off base because it was like the markets, you know, where you would like walk through and they were cooking all the food, and you would get your fresh seafood, you know, with the crab still from like a local fisherman. So they had those areas, and then the candy and all that kind of stuff was really good. And then you know, the beaches were super nice. I never went to a place like where they went and broke ice. I wasn't old enough to go hang out in places like that or whatever, right? But like, I mean, it had to have been authentic because they were there. And then, but we did go to like the beaches, and there was a thing called Expo, and it was kind of like kind of an amusement park out there. And I remember going on some rides, and then you would go to see the animals and you know, the fish and sharks and the tanks and stuff like that. And that was the first place I ever saw like remote control, like robotic, like crabs and stuff. Cause they had these like little metal crabs, and they were wired, but you had these like controllers, and you would make the thing walk around. It was really cool. And that was like in the 70s. So, I mean, but there was no street fighting. Come on.
Well, you know, that was like after hours. That was after Vern's bedtime.
So even in Cobra Kai, like when they go back to Okinawa, you see like how
it's all modern.
It's all modern, and there's strip malls where like it was, you know, nice, quiet little places and stuff like that. So it was cool that they showed that, you know, in the show.
Yeah. I got to catch up on Cobra Kai. I loved it, but I'm a couple seasons behind, so I got to catch up.
I believe this next one is the last one, right? Like I think
so.
This next season is the last season.
Yeah. Let's see. Eric Brown.
Eric.
Trying to go through and see. I know
Eric's trying to talk me into buying a Darksaber.
Oh, you should. Well, you know what? I'm not buying one because I saw that it was on at Best Buy one time for like $150. I missed it, and so like now that's the new price according to me. Right.
So when we end this broadcast, Vern, I'll tell you where they have it right now for $20 more than what you just said.
Oh, you're kidding me. Okay.
No, that's why I was like, do I pull the trigger? And Eric, you know, is the bad influence when it comes to sabers. So
hey, Dave. Rhino's Hobbies.
Rhino.
No, I missed somebody. Gerard, did I say hello to
Gerard? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll let you guys both know after, you know, when we're off air. So if you guys want an opportunity to grab one of the things that are on sale, I'll point you in the direction.
The Darksaber is nice. Have you seen the Hasbro Star Wars influencer package that's been going out to a few YouTubers? This massive box, and it's got all the toys in it, and it's got Bo-Katan's Black Series helmet in it. It's got the Darksaber in it. It's a loot bag, loot box. It's crazy.
Well, I guarantee you Hasbro will never send me a box like that.
I was just about to say, is yours lost in the mail, Vern?
Yeah, it's on the way. It's on the way. They got hung up in Okinawa.
They said we were going to send this to you, but it's got a carbonized figure in it. So.
Yeah.
It had a lot of stuff though. Like it was literally like a suitcase that they sent to people. I was like, wow.
Couldn't believe how big that thing was.
Yeah. And I missed out on the Darksaber and the Mando helmet were both on the Pulse sale, and they sold out like immediately because they were both, you know, 30. 35.
Yeah, I saw the Mando helmet. Wow. Yeah.
Jonathan's here.
Jonathan.
Nice. So did you guys want to talk about the Mandalorian or no?
Pretty good episode. Pretty cool.
Really good episode. I think it might have been my favorite one so far. Like next to that second episode with Bo, you know, like in the spider droid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
And
that was it, though. A lot happened in this episode for it only being, half an hour long.
I know it was so short, but it was packed with canon
Yeah.
and surprises and action. Yeah.
Jonathan wants to complain about the stream being early. Next week, everything will be right on time.
So where do you guys want to start on Mando? That's where we should probably go. Like, do you want to just start from like the beginning and work our way through it, or like is there a moment
When you say the beginning, what do you mean by the beginning? Like before
the episode, not the whole season, the episode.
Yeah, we can do that. We can talk about it. I mean, it's so
man.
funny because I've watched it like twice, and I'm kind of drawing a blank. Was it any good?
I want to go to Mandalorian cosplay boot camp and just shoot rockets into the water.
Yeah,
Look,
they need to have a celebration.
I like that was like an homage to Kodar, because like in those games, like whenever you're around the Mandalorians, that's what they're doing. They're just shooting.
They were fighting
at random stuff and fighting each other and stuff
training,
like. So like, it was a cool little homage to that. But like,
I don't know.
what shit luck does Paz's kid have that like now this is twice he's gotten picked off by a creature?
Well, it's because he's the only kid like hanging out at the shoreline.
Right. Get away from the water, kid. Get away.
Listen,
Oh my God.
I watched that opening sequence, and all I was thinking of was what's that, Jackass the movie? Where they had the amusement park. Those guys, you know what I'm talking about?
And they just light off all the fireworks and all the different shit.
Yeah, they had one where they had like an amusement park, right? And it had these like super dangerous rides and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was, all I was thinking about was like, oh, okay, I can see this is going to be a problem.
Like, why are you wasting all of that ammo? Like, aren't you guys going to need that ammo?
I know.
Do you have more of that just like laying around?
When the next monster shows up, they're like, I'm out. I shot it all in the water.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Oh, yeah. Left 4 Dead Pet, Wheels of Chaotic Doom from a
Cool.
Sydney.
I love though the Grogu, like Grogu and Ragnar, having their little duel, and like Grogu getting hit twice and like not knowing what to do, and he's like, all right, go ahead, show him. Like, so like I love that they're showing that like he's gonna be comfortable now to use the Force around other people.
Okay, I have a problem with that.
Paintball. How perfect was that?
Yeah, okay.
And he just hits him, boom, 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 and shoots him 3 times.
Yeah, he got 3 off.
So here's my problem with that. Why didn't the other kid just shoot him 3 times?
Right.
He was being boastful with it. That's what it was. He was just kind of, I shot him already once, like quick, right as soon as they said go. So it was more showing Ragnar being like a pompous asshole kid, because he's Paz's kid. Like, it's like father, like son, and like that's what he was more relishing in the moment of like, look, I got him again. Look, I got him again. And then that last one, Grogu, boom, 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 done. Because he did say you could shoot him in any order you choose to.
Sure, in any order, but not all at once.
Well, you could have.
But I'm thinking of hey, I'm thinking of the Karate Kid when they had their little thing.
Sure,
point,
you gotta call the point.
Then there would be like a break, and then they would form up again. So
I think that was supposed to be like the intention. Like Ragnar could have shot him 3 times right off the bat and just ended it. But because he was relishing in that moment of like besting this kid, that's
so here we are, you and me, right? Like, let me turn this way, and then you got your thing, and I got my thing. So shoot me once and bask in your glory. Pretend like boom, 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 boom. There, I just got you 3 times.
And then
winner.
But Grogu was like, Grogu was more like taken back by like, this motherfucker just shot me. Like he looked down and he was like, then he looked at Din, and Din's like, don't look at me, look at him. I love that moment.
Yeah. He was DQ'd.
Yeah, right. He was DQ'd. Yeah.
and I love like, so what do you guys, before we talk about like the big moment, what do you guys think that piece is? Like, because he's got the chainmail on already. And she gives him like this plate and then explains that he's gonna grow into his armor as it's made. So like my assumption,
he's not gonna grow into that because we've seen how big Yoda is.
But what I'm saying is, I'm assuming that's supposed to be a shoulder pad, and because he's too small, that like she just put it on his chest for now. Because it
right.
looks like Din's shoulder pad, and it's got that circuitry behind it, like the shoulder pads had. So like that's what I was assuming.
Circuitry?
Yeah, they have it had circuitry behind it.
But do the shoulder pads have it? Because Bo-Katan's didn't look like it had circuitry in it.
That's what she tells Bo. She said it's not going to be as modern as the one you're used to, and she's like, but it'll do. And so she makes her the new.
But she made a shoulder pad that was super modern for Grogu. I thought she was telling Bo-Katan she just didn't have the capability to make it as modern as the new one.
That's what I think she was referring to, that circuitry behind it and stuff like that. Because if you look, even when she was doing like the helmet and everything, there was all kinds of circuitry that went into the helmet, and when she made it for Ragnar originally.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it could go either way.
I think it's the crown for his helmet.
Oh,
yeah, it could be. Cool. Yeah,
it
could definitely change or be repurposed for whatever fits him as he grows. Yeah.
I was just like confused by the fact of like he already had that mithril kind of thing that she made him. You know what I mean? So like, was that not strong enough, and she just wanted to add more protection to his chest, or was it another piece that she's just gonna keep adding to him, and then? Jonah.
Right now he's kind of like a tiny Christmas tree that you only need about one ornament on to cover the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, and what are they going to do when they make the new figure? They're going to have like his form-fitting robe, like just broken open and molded open so you can see the chest piece, or are they going to make them?
If they were smart, they do it
all together. Because if they do that,
they do it soft.
They're going to make all those articulation points.
Yeah, and that's what we need, is like an actually articulated, actual scaled Grogu. Because the ones they keep doing in Black Series are like just chunks of plastic, and they don't move, they don't bend, they don't hold anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely selling toys and merch is the way. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, you guys think like going forward, so like my assumption with the armor is somewhere along this, whether it's the mythosaur or like we're gonna come to find out in the armor itself, there's some sort of like force connection, I think, with that. Because like even with the anvil, she's like the anvil will reveal weaknesses, and we saw Din go through those flashbacks every time. So are we going to see Grogu now? Every time he's getting a new piece of armor, we're going to see more and more of that Order 66 story, like as it goes on.
Yeah, I like that theory, Seth. I think you're right. It's like for the first time I noticed when Bo-Katan was going through it, every time she's making armor, they're sitting there watching. So it's like you don't get to leave the room and come back later and pick up your suit. You have to be involved in the process.
Yeah.
So whether it's the Force invoking this vision, or whether you're just simply meditating because you don't have an iPhone to look at, you're forced to look at this traditional thing as the whole creation is being made, and she's taking her time. So you're gonna go into your thoughts, and and she's sort of leading you with the questions and the point that she's making. So it's very meditative. It's very inwardly drawn. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Force plays a role in it, in one way or another. But it's certainly a powerful thing to sit through and to experience, and you get to see that play out from our point of view when we get inside their heads and find out those flashbacks of their deep recesses of their memories. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking, Steve-O. Like exactly what you just said. Like just because you've seen it now in every season, like every time somebody's there, it's a process, and it almost, like you said, she's leading you with the questions, like almost like she's aware of everything already and knows everything, and like is pushing you in the right direction where you need to be, which would be a very, very interesting like theory on who the armor actually, is or what. And even at the end of the episode, Bo telling her, and she's just like, this is the way, and just like, so wait, did you know it was there and you sent in there on purpose? That's what I was getting out of it. And like, or was Bo, did you know he was going to go get Bo? Like all those possibilities.
That's really been one of my favorite things about The Mandalorian, is the mystery of the armorer. You really don't know her intentions. Is she manipulative? Is she prophetic? Is she just, or does she have her own motivations? I love it. I love all the intrigue and the way I think Emily Swallows is the actress, and she does a great job. Her tone of voice, the way she carries herself, her strength, the fact that she's a badass when she needs to be, and stoic and almost mystic. Her mystery, her character is some excellent stuff.
Not the usual.
And I'm surprised that, like, I thought for sure when her and Bo were going to interact. We were going to get some sort of like, I know who you are type deal. But it seems like Bo doesn't even know who she is.
Yeah, the problem is I looked ahead and I saw that Ryan Johnson has written one of the episodes where it's like the armorer's identity, and it's going to turn out that she's just the kid of some traders on some distant planet, and basically can come from anybody, or there's no secret.
Right. But that's the Mandalorian community. We find everybody, we bring everybody in. You know, you don't have to be the former leader of Mandalore to belong to the club. You could be anybody from anywhere. Yeah.
And then and then the I mean when those elevator doors opened, I literally, so like it took me a minute. I'm not gonna lie. My first glance was like, is it Mace? And then when like 2 seconds later, like my brain clicked and I was like, it's Ahmed! And I was like, yes. Oh, I was so happy. Like I've been one of the people, so like the prequels were my movies, like as a kid. Like when I was like 10, 11, 12, those movies came out. So like for me, those were the ones that I got to experience like in a theater and watching. So I've been one of the people saying like, I would love for that somebody to have the balls to bring Jar Jar back and do something with him. You can make the character more mature now as he's gotten older. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do something with it. But to have this now and like the possibility of Ahmed interacting with himself as Jar Jar, like, oh my God, I'm so for it. Like I'm all in on it. Because I mean that's who I'm assuming ship that was, because Padme takes the other one to go to Mustafar. So like there was Padme has those two ships, the H class and the M class or whatever they're called, and so we know she took the one. So like to see the Naboo guard, to see that ship, it's got to be Jar Jar, right?
Got to be. It's gonna be some authority figure from Naboo, and your two best picks are Padme and Jar Jar.
Yeah, and we don't. I mean, we know Sabe and the Handmaidens are out there with the comics and stuff like that. So I mean, they could swerve us with them, but I don't know.
It's great. I love that they just gave us that much, and then off into hyperspace, and the adventure continues. Where we'll find out someday. Yeah, dude, I'm with you, Seth. That moment when Ahmed Best shows up. I mean, I've really enjoyed every episode of Mandalorian. But twice did it get me off the couch and screaming with joy, and that was Luke showing up and then Ahmed Best showing up. Got me off the couch, and I was like, yes! It was unreal. It was amazing. I never saw it coming, and it was perfect. It really was perfect.
I've heard people like guess Jar Jar. You know what I mean? Like I think Jar Jar was always somebody that people had like threw out there as speculation. But to see that and then for them to set it up where like, this could have been Jar Jar sending the ship because he knew what was going on. Like, oh my God! Like that to me, that was the and like who better of a person to deserve that redemption and deserve that acclaim of being this Jedi?
That celebration.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it's so great to see Star Wars fans come around and actually celebrate the thing that they used to criticize. They've done it with Hayden. They've done it with Ahmed Best. So to see that Kenobi evolution too, like, of fans, it's great.
No, that was just incredible.
What do you think, Vern? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was okay. I just like to listen to you guys talk. I want to read some of these comments. Hold on, let's see. Jonathan wants to know why Bo-Katan didn't know Paz Vizsla, because he's saying, didn't she date?
I'm trying to figure out too. If they're brothers, cousins, what's the deal, and how did I'm assuming that's how he knew she was a night owl, and he called, "What do you want, night owl?" But and then when he knew like who she was, but now she's kind of earned their trust, which I'm assuming is gonna play in her like making a play for the saber at some point. I still think she's gonna turn on him. I know a lot of people think she's like all in.
No, I think there's a total battle for it.
Yeah, I still think she's gonna, when he least expects it and his guard's down, she's gonna make the play in front of everybody, and then we'll see what happens. If she's gonna take the saber or if she's gonna get bested again, and then be wrong. Because I still think that's the ultimate thing. Like you're seeing her drive for power was her mistake over and over and over again, and her thinking that like she's destined to be the leader. So like for her to now take the mythosaur as her, on the arm. And then to think that like her seeing the mythosaur was, you know, her vision, when I still think it pulled Din down to stop him. So like, I think we're gonna come to, and like it doesn't really work out with her being able to just like ride the mythosaur. We know Grogu's gonna factor into that equation because we're seeing it episode after episode with these animals.
Yeah.
Like even the crabs, Din thought he was playing. Meanwhile, the crabs came to him and we're just sitting around him. So like you know that it's going to be him and the mythosaur at some point, that he's going to be the one that either like communicates with it, or we find out the mythosaur, like we were saying, maybe has some force capability or connection. You know, it's
sure. He's like the Bendu.
Yeah, like that's what I'm wondering, if we're going to see something along those lines. Like,
yeah, I think you're making a great point, bro. And to me, I see this sort of thing with Bo-Katan because she's been the good guy and the bad guy throughout the different iterations that we've seen the character. So to me, she's kind of got this decision: do I want to take the Darksaber and take command, or do I want to have a unified Mandalore bringing everybody together? And I don't know if both of those things could be the same. I don't know if you can do both. So she might come to a point where she has to pick: do I want unification, or do I want the Darksaber? Which do I want more? And that'll really determine her path. Yeah.
But I also see it going one way where, like, if Bo beats Din for the saber, she might end up with the saber, but does Din ride the mythosaur, and does that, you know, or vice versa, and does one trump the other? Because, like, if Din loses the saber going forward, what's his weapon now? He lost his gun, he lost his spear. Now he's going to lose the Darksaber too. Like,
I missed the pulse rifle. He got? That was great.
Yeah, like what's he got? You know, unless he upgrades his gauntlets or something. Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
true. Yeah.
So like I could see it where he keeps the saber, she gets the mythosaur. They're both, you know, like the mythosaur would trump the saber, and he can do whatever he wants then at that point. Because that's my only question with the series is like, when this season's all said and done, either he's going to be the ruler of Mandalore, or him and Grogu, I think, are going to help Ahsoka. Like, so it's. And if he's Mandalore, he's not going to be able to leave. So like,
can't do that.
I think there's going to have to be some sort of. And then I've heard people speculate maybe Boba is the one who ends up, you know, Mandalore. But
I think he's still a player. Yeah, he's going to come into the story some way, somehow, for sure. Yeah.
The stunt guy who plays Mando just said, you know, he was talking in an interview, and he said something along the lines of like, you know, he's a good friend. He's always there when you need him. Even sometimes when you don't call him, he shows up. And I was like, oh, so he's going to show up at some point, whether it's Navarro or Mandalore.
Yeah.
Grogu's going to ride the mythosaur.
Yeah.
At least if he doesn't ride it, at least like he'll be the one that has that force connection and tames it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that could be the whole lead-in on how like the Mandalorian ends up riding like the mythosaur, right? Like Grogu uses the Force to sort of calm the creature. But I think that if Bo-Katan and the Mandalorian or Din Djarin fight over the Darksaber, I don't think he's going to lose any sleep over losing it to her, because he was willing to give it to her. So
it's true. And so the stakes in that battle aren't as high unless something changes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I still think that's playing though into that heaviness for him and why he's so reluctant to use it. Like if you notice in every fight, it's the last thing he uses. He's got it tucked behind his cape, like to where he doesn't even want to bother with it.
Right. Because he doesn't wield it. You know what I mean? He doesn't know how.
That's why I think there's going to have to be some sort of moment where he's going to either have to accept it or pass it over. You know what I mean? And and that's kind of what we've been seeing with the blade, because that's what we saw in Rebels. Sabine said the same thing. Yeah. So like Fenrir showing up and the rumors of him like in live action would make perfect sense to be the person to be like, hey, Din, this is what you got to do. Like he sat there while Sabine and Kanan did the training. So like it would be perfect. And that dude from Grey's Anatomy wants to play him in live action. So
that'd be a good cast. Yeah.
Well, he voiced it. He voiced him in Rebels.
Oh, he was the voice, the guy from Grey's Anatomy.
The guy, the blonde haired guy from Grey's Anatomy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he looks like he could play the character. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, anybody can wear the helmet all the time, but still, he looks like he could.
He voiced them in Rebels, and he said, like, throughout the last couple of years that, man, if they do something, I would love to come back. I really want to get a chance to come back. So
I didn't realize
cool.
that. That's great. Good call.
What about you,
Nice.
Vern?
Yeah, good theories.
Where do you think? Where do you guys think So are you guys under the impression that like those ties and everything are Thrawn or Gideon?
Yeah, I wonder if Thrawn is the guy that's supporting Gideon. You know, he's his the guy that Gideon's answering to is Thrawn. So those are his ships ultimately that he's giving them or allowing them to use. Yeah.
It could go either way. So like I did like a whole video on my channel breaking down like the newer Timothy Zahn books in comparison to Heir to the Empire. So like it's really just going to be what Filoni decides to do. I think like he could go that way where Gideon's answering to Thrawn and then Thrawn's answering to Palpatine. But if you're going off like the newer canon, Thrawn almost got killed by Palpatine like right before they disappeared. So yeah, I don't think he has anything to do with like what's left of this remnant. I think what he's been doing in that warlord that we saw in Ahsoka get the information from and shit. All she was trying to do was build a fleet. So I think him and Ezra and those characters are going to be dealing with the Grist, which was the Yusong Vong and stuff like that.
Their enemies, yeah.
I think that's why, like, we'll see them deal with that in Ahsoka and those characters and keep them out of the sequel trilogy. You know what I mean? You'll have the First Order and that going on over here with Gideon and the connections to Palpatine, and then you'll have this whole other thing going on over here. But that's my assumption.
Yeah.
And I still think Gideon's the link to Palpatine.
And I'd be happy with that. I like Gideon enough that he could be the top guy in the totem pole as far as I'm concerned. Plus, it will be hard for Thrawn. If Thrawn's so far away in this unknown area, unknown region, how is he able to coordinate attacks and supply people with ships and that sort of thing? Why wouldn't he just say, "Hey, come pick me up," and then I'll be there to orchestrate the whole thing?
I think we're going to come to find out that there's either a cloning facility or base on Mandalore, and that's where Gideon actually is. Like remember we heard like the rumors in the last episode that, I heard he escaped. I heard this. I heard that. I'm guessing he's gone already. Like he's already out. And that would make the most sense is like when Bo and Din went to Mandalore, that's why the fleet followed them, because there's something on Mandalore that they're trying to keep everybody away from. That's why they told them the planet's uninhabitable. You know, it's bombed to glass. There's got to be some propaganda.
There. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sure.
And I think that's what gets them back to Mandalore at the end. Like that's because we're gonna get the Navarro pirates, showdown, and then I think that's where the rest of the season goes. Them all going back to Mandalore for the final confrontation with, Gideon
for sure.
or whatever. So
then is it just a matter of them showing up in Mandalore because, hey, it's safe now and we want to find the mystical, or are they going to be wise enough to say there's some Imperial activity, let's go investigate so that we can reestablish ourselves on Mandalore and not just shut up shop waiting to be picked off again? Yeah,
I think we're going to find that out when Din speaks to Carson Teva. I think that's
that'd be good.
Because we see that like he's either going to go to Coruscant or something at some point.
Yep. Cell phone plan.
That's how he phones in coordinates all his plans.
Right.
So I have a feeling, like, I didn't put this question up because I have a feeling it'll just end the conversation you guys are having. Are you excited for Andor?
Block him now. Block Connor.
Yeah, Andor's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to. I hope they show a sizzle reel at Celebration next month. I think they've been filming for a little while, so they ought to have some behind the scenes stuff, and maybe bring Alan Tudyk out and talk about K2SO coming on board and some fun stuff like that. That'd be cool.
What we're saying, Thrawn is Imperial remnants, Gideon's the First Order. I don't even think Gideon's the First Order, because if you read the Aftermath books, there's somebody else that's in charge of that, and
Gideon reminds me of the guy.
It's Hux and his dad. They're the two that are the First Order.
Gideon's character reminds me of some lower level guy that after the fall, like, put on somebody's stripes and just started being in charge. Just walked into the room and pretended like he was in charge.
Like he's a con man, like he could just convince everybody and carry himself in a way. But he's battle tested. I mean, he was going toe to toe with Mando.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
He's no phony. but I don't know how genuine he is. But
he obviously beat Bo too. He took the saber from her in the first time, you know. So
he's got experience. Yeah, he's still
Brian
a player.
joined us, and he wants to know if it's going to be a Game of Thrones flying around on those pterodactyls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think
G-Force mentioned those earlier too.
Yeah, the more beasts that the Mandos can tame, the better they'll be.
There we go. So the Shriek is the symbol for the Deathwatch clan. So it makes sense, like, why they would take those birds, because they're Shriek.
Yeah, that was cool. The little, like the raptors slash marks. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's gonna be badass if we get Boba on the Rancor, the Vizslas flying the Shriek,
right?
And then Din and Bo on the Mythosaur, like.
Right. I mean, that's the ultimate payoff, right?
Mandalore.
That's the big battle of the finale. All those things coming into play on screen. That's the end game. Thanos versus everybody popping through all the portals.
Like, do you think Boba could fit the Rancor on the Slave One?
No.
I mean, if you like rolled up in a ball, maybe. Yeah.
No, he's going to need a bigger ship. He's going to
have like a cargo thing hanging from the bottom of it.
But there's a reason why everything revolves around Tatooine, right?
Yeah. I was trying to think of, like, you know, even with the Mythosaur, like, all right, they got a Mythosaur, but like, it's not like they can bring it anywhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're gonna have like some big gigantic ship to track this Mythosaur around if they need it.
It won't fit in. It won't fit in a Den's ship. I still don't know how the R2 unit fell out the bottom. I don't know how that R5D4 fell out the bottom, because when he popped it out the bottom, it was like, wait, isn't there like an engine right there? Like, right? There's no port. I don't know how that.
Engines are on the side. Yeah,
there's something on the bottom, like
clearly well known in the Empire. The other imps knew who he was and had a reputation. I agree. Yeah, you almost think like he's the contingency plan, because in the Aftermath books it was Galley. It was Gallius Rax.
Gallius Rax. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was basically like a kid that Palpatine found on Jakku and like put him in charge of kidnapping other kids, that those kids eventually become the First Order. And he's the contingency plan. He's the one to basically like take out all the surviving Imperials and restart everything and send them to Exegol. So I mean, they could have very well just cut Galley out and put Gideon in that role, or we could still see Galley at some point down the line. Like, it's very possible. Because we're close to the Battle of Jakku. We're still a little bit away from it, though. And that's like the last stand. And that's where the First Order actually blasts off to Exegol and you know, starts. So we have, they have, you know, a bunch of stuff they could play with in between that time.
They do. And it's cool because it's almost like Favreau and Filoni are giving us a modern version of the original Timothy Zahn Thrawn trilogy that we always thought we'd get in the 90s. Oh, well, that's the movies they'll make when they make 7, 8, 9, and they never did. So now they kind of get to play in that time slot and even bring in a Luke Skywalker a little bit here and there, and then kind of have those elements and tell a story with Thrawn, in addition to adding every other bit of lore that they built up with Ahsoka and Rebels and everything else into a mix to make this really super awesome version of a modern Thrawn story that we never got, and now we're going to get. So it's going to be epic.
Yeah, like I was saying to you, I think if he can incorporate aspects from Heir to the Empire and then incorporate a lot of the storyline from the newer Thrawn books, I think like there's a perfect medium where like he's not a villain, he's not an anti-hero, but like he's somewhere in the middle, and you literally make him like one of the most interesting characters in all of Star Wars, because like that's what I prefer with the newer Thrawn books, is that there's a lot of gray to him. It's not just cut and dry, but that the way he thinks and the way he plots and the way he plans and how everything has its intentional purpose to things, to a bigger role. To me, like, that's so cool. And if you can show that and flush that out in live action, man, that's gonna be fun. Especially where, like, if you're not sure, is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Why? Because like I think Ezra's gonna help him. I think that's where we're gonna find out where Ezra's been. They've been together for 9 years. The rumor is that Sabine's gonna, you know, Sabine has his lightsaber, So he doesn't have a saber with Thrawn, but the rumor is that he's going to be using the Terracasa and Force. So like,
sure,
who else would teach him that except Maul or Thrawn, who we both saw use that in Star Wars. So like, I think
Ezra
that's
had that link to animals too. He had that link to control different creatures and whatnot too. So he's got that ability.
And I think like that's what they've been showing us. Grogu seeing the Purrgil in the first episode, like they're baiting you. Grogu being a navigator, learning how to navigate. In the Thrawn books, that's what the Chiss are that are Force sensitive. They call them Skywalkers, but they use the Force because like so in the galaxy we know there's hyperspace lanes that circle through the galaxy. Those hyperspace lanes are how people actually get around and jump through space. In the unknown regions, there's no hyperspace lanes. So the only way to travel is basically you need a navigator who's Force sensitive, and they use the Force to basically send you in the right direction and jump.
Yep.
That's what I think they're showing us with Grogu learning these things and having those connections. Like my assumption is him and Din are going to help them and point them in the right direction of like, hey, this is where he is. And then hopefully we meet the Chiss, because I love the Chiss characters. Like they're Arlani and Eli Vanto from the, you know, like they're just awesome characters. So if we get to see that and see Ezra training those kids and being the one to train Grogu too, because like Ezra don't care about connections and all that. He knows from Kanan that like that's what made him stronger. That's what made him more powerful. So like I've heard a lot of people speculating about Grogu and like he's gonna have to make the choice at some point to either like become a Mandalorian or stay a Jedi. And I think that's where you find the happy medium of like Ezra don't care. Like Ezra will teach him regardless, one way or another, and he can be both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're gonna end up seeing.
Yeah.
We'll mark that down on our calendar, and we'll start taking bets on that on Monday.
Does the panel have any predictions for the new movies?
Have they lost every showrunner that they've had?
I wish Star Wars would just never announce anything. It's so embarrassing. It hurts my heart when and they haven't been announcing these projects. They've been holding off of them, but they're talking to their sources. Their reports are getting out there. We know about Lindelof. We know about everybody who's slated to write or direct, whether it's been an official announcement or not. So they can control that information getting out. Lucasfilm, Disney, they know what they're doing. So to allow that out there, they're getting their own publicity. They want it, but they get egg on their face when
they have to cancel,
leave over and over again.
Oh, this project's pulling this from the slot. Yeah, I just think that you're right. They shouldn't even make any announcements until
they shouldn't.
They have stuff going. Lefko says it's a Hammerhead movie.
Hammerhead movie. Let's hope so. Let's hope so, Rick.
Bad.
Oh yeah, that's next week, right? The finale. It's a two-parter next week.
I wouldn't know. I have only seen one episode.
Oh, it's great, Vern. It really is.
Vern doesn't watch the animation. He's one of those, Steve-O.
It's a real funny thing because I think like around the time I was watching Robotech, I think that was probably the last animated show that I saw in completion.
Okay.
But I've seen other stuff like parts and here and there and stuff like that. But I think that is like the last one that actually sat through. And it was probably the storyline that got me, and because of the animation style. But like I think over the last few years, I don't know what it is, but a lot of these animated shows have really pushed me away because of the style of the drawing has really pushed me from it. And this one looks really good, but it makes me want it to be a live action.
Okay.
Right.
See, I've noticed in Tales of the Jedi in this last season of Bad Batch, the animations changed more to make it more realistic, as opposed to them having like the long heads and the weird proportions like Clone Wars did. So like they're kind of getting more in that direction, but I could understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clone Wars originally made it look like they were painted models, almost like you could see the brushstrokes in the sides of their faces and their clothes. But now Bad Batch looks so realistic. It really does.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe I watched that Crosshair episode, the one where
you did?
reboot at the end. That one
Okay.
was actually a really good story. I was able to sit through it, but I don't like other ones I have seen haven't made me feel that way. Like that was like a
Okay.
standalone, like
Sure.
the theming was really where I was interested. So then I see like another episode and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should be watching this with one of my grandkids or something like that. Then I'm out. So
I love
the
that
best
Mayday
one
character. He was cool.
Yeah, the best one in my opinion so far this season was probably the one where we saw Palpatine, like where we saw them actually like get rid of the clones in the most Palpatine way possible, I think. Like using Rampart as the scapegoat to basically push along his agenda that he wanted to happen anyway. Like, oh, these clones followed him blindly. They should be eliminated anyway. And there it goes. And I've heard like a lot of people speculating that they're setting up the Clone Wars too. Like we're gonna see the clones against the Clone Rebellion, I guess you could say. And like that's where they're going with Bad Batch. So
maybe that's the next 3 movies.
Well, no, I think that's more so like whatever they're gonna do with Bad Batch. Whatever either this will be the last season of like Bad Batch and we'll get whatever is gonna be the continuation of it, or that'll all be season 3 of Bad Batch is basically the Clone Rebellion. Because like in Rebels, we know Rex, Gregor, and Wolf are on that planet. They have amnesty from the Empire. That's all we know. We don't know what happened. And like that's what I forget his name. Callus tells them. So like you know, you have amnesty. We left you alone for all this time on this planet.
Like, I forgot that. That's interesting. Yeah, how did they earn that? Sure. Did they fight in some sort of stalemate and work on a treaty or something? Yeah. Yeah.
So there's got to be like some sort of like rebellion because we're watching that unfold now where like they're all banding together to free their brothers.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to liberate all their clone brothers. And then what happens if they're successful? Yeah. How many do they get and what becomes of it? Sure.
Yeah. And I'm also wondering like, so I think Crosshair and Echo and Tech are probably the ones we have to worry about the most this season. But I'm still like wondering, are they going to use Crosshair and these other clones like the at Mount Tantus? Is that how we're going to see the Death Troopers be born? You know, like in the old canon, the Death, like Cody became a Death Trooper. So like, are we going to see that
They're
with
taller,
Crosshair and some of them with some of those experiments that like he wants all the clones to come to him now? So
it's a picky thing, like Wolverine to argue over the height, but the Death Troopers are taller. So I mean, they could cut off their legs and give them cyborg legs like Darth Vader, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. But then again, he could just be one of the first Death Troopers, and the other ones are taller, more recruited ones. Yeah, that wouldn't be too crazy of an idea.
Yeah,
but he wouldn't want.
He'd
be reluctant. At this point, Crosshair is not on board with what the Empire's doing. He's finally reached his breaking point. He may not think he's going to leave or survive, but he's not going to go be more committed to them at this point.
Yeah, no, that's why I was saying, like, I wonder if it's almost like a brainwashing type thing, like last resort, like they fry him to where, like, because I mean, it would make sense for why all of the head of the Imperials got a squad of Death Troopers. Like, if they were clones, like, you'd want the elite troopers with protecting the high-ranking officials. You know what I mean? That's the only thing. I was just trying to like piece it together from that, but
yeah. He's been resistant to some of the mind probes so far, so they'd really have to break them. They really would. Man, that'll be good though. I love how he gets the signal out, how he's trying to warn everybody, and now the Bad Batch is like, but can't we trust him? I mean, he's still our brother, but you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, kind of my own fault at that point. Yeah.
And I love the subtle reactions of each one. Like, Wrecker was all about it. Like, let's go get my man.
Yeah.
Like, he's back. And then like Tech just relayed the rest of the message. Echo was skeptical. Hunter's like, I just want to stay here. Like it's very interesting how they've been painting each individual one this season and how they've took the time to flush out each individual one. I think it's been really, really interesting.
They all have a voice. They're all represented. It's great. Yeah.
And then me and Sean were speculating. Do you think that there's anything up with that lady that's like the doctor with crosshair?
Like what could be her motivation?
Would you notice that it's the same voice actor for Omega and like the same voice inflections on certain words? Like it's the same, and like the way Crosshair kind of was like, he stunned her. He could have killed her. He switched his gun to stun.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was deliberate.
What if the Strand casting that we heard about in Mandalorian, like, what if that's what makes Omega different? If she's actually the first 2 DNAs instead of just Jango's, you know what I mean? Because like, why is she female? You know, like, why create a female version of Jango that Jango didn't want? That's
so
only
that
maybe that's
Omega's
who
mom?
the donor's DNA is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, holy shit, what if that's Omega's mom? Like,
wow. Interesting. I like it.
So me and Sean were pitching that idea back and forth. That we think something shady with her. Like, there's something more to it.
She definitely has a role to play. Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are getting too deep.
I know it's going to be the whole Star Wars breakdown show. You don't watch out, Vern. You don't take the reins back, Vern. Watch out.
to me, that's the fun part, though, about like being a fan. Like,
it is.
I think if you get too invested in your theories, where like it has to happen this way, I think that's when like you disappoint yourself. But speculating and coming up with different things, and then like, oh shit, we were right. Like, to me, that's fun. You know what I mean? That makes it enjoyed even more.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
All right. We're an hour in. We're going to go through the pickups, or not pickups, like reveals and stuff like that. But to gap. Let's see. So I have that. This is the thumbnail for this week. Oh, and it's a viewer giveaway. So what I'm going to do is anybody who wants to take part, who's a viewer, are you guys going to participate, or are you going to abstain since you're hosting?
I'll abstain.
Steve-O?
Yeah, I'll abstain.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type a number into the private chat, and the first person to guess that number is going to walk away with something. So if you guys want to participate, just go ahead and throw a number out there, and we'll see the first person that gets it in the chat.
Between what, 1 and the infinity?
Yeah, what's the range of the number?
It's my favorite number. No. Look at Left Coast here. I got all of them. Between 1 and 50.
Okay.
1 and 50.
You guys can see the private chat, right?
How many guesses do you get? How many stabs do you take
until somebody gets it.
Okay.
So you guys got to help me, like, no, between 1 and 50, Eric. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. I haven't done many giveaways on my channel. I did the one for members last week. Dave, between 1 and 50.
Oh.
Anyways, Ricardo here is the first one to get 23. The number was 23. So Ricardo, on my YouTube page, if you go over to the About, there's like an email address. Just send me an email with your address and stuff like that, and I will send you out this carded Mandalorian and Spider set. Wow. It's a vintage collection, so I'll send that out to you. Just go ahead and send me your address and stuff like that.
Nice.
That's a nice giveaway.
Heck yeah, it is. Awesome.
And I got one more thing I'm going to give away, but that's going to be a little bit later.
All right, hang in there, everybody. Don't go nowhere.
All right, so I wanted to do this. I have this slideshow up. This is 3 things that I've learned over the last few weeks from guests on the show. Okay. First is it's illegal to put too many other product pictures on the packaging. That is, Super John said that it must be illegal to put pictures of other figures, too many pictures of the figures on the packaging. And I have not looked it up, but I'm going to go with it. What do you guys think?
He works
Super
for
John's
Lego.
Pretty good authority.
Yeah, he works for Lego. So, I mean, he's got to know, right?
That's right.
He's in the industry.
And then apparently it's illegal to have exclusives in Europe. That was Connor. He is the one who claims that you can't have exclusives, except for, what's interesting is you. Hold on. I think I have that slide in here. The other thing here is I think this was Rick last week said it by law. The package must have one action figure or one actual product photo on the packaging.
Okay.
I don't even know if they fulfill that law. It's all rendered.
Yeah, like if you get an action figure like this guy right here, I guess the window counts or whatever, because there's not actually one picture on here. So these guys are in total violation of the law that Rick made up last week.
Now, is that Canadian law?
Yeah, maybe.
Rick's from Canada, so yeah, that might be Canadian law.
They take away your maple syrup rations if you disobey that rule. Yeah.
Hey, you're welcome, Ricardo. Hey, I just appreciate everybody who comes and tunes in and stuff like that and hangs out. So, you know, it's kind of a little bit of a way to give back a little bit, right?
We have a sweet community.
Yeah, it is. I did have one more slide, and I wanted to go pair along with this illegal to have exclusives in Europe. I was going to have a slide that says, but it is totally legal to create a restaurant and take all of McDonald's products and call it something else like Supermax.
Hey! Don't, Connor's going to come after you for attacking Supermax.
Is that legit? Is that a real restaurant?
Yeah,
Nice.
in Ireland, they had another. Connor explained it to us the one day that I guess before McDonald's had gotten over there, this other company basically took all their stuff and made Supermax. And by the time McDonald's got over there, this company was already in business doing everything, you know, like them. So they lost the legal battle and they were allowed to keep going because they were there first.
I think
it's like squatters'
McDonald's,
rights, huh?
Yeah, McDonald's tried to sue them for the Mick in the name, the MC,
the Mac or whatever, the Big Mac.
But I'm sure they tried.
Yeah. But the Big Mac wasn't trademarked at that time, so basically they lost the trademark for that in Europe. Yeah.
Huh.
No crap talking Supermax. Rick saying the only law in Canada is bilingual packs, and the only reason I know that everything needs to be in 2 languages is because of the movie Canadian Bacon. Because when they were driving that box truck with all the comments on it, they got pulled over by the Mountie, who fined them for not having their slogans and stuff in both the English and the French Canadian.
And French, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Supermax for the win. Okay.
Supermax have Happy Meals? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. In Limerick, we have Chicken Hut instead of KFC. Yeah.
Chicken Hut.
So I threw these exclusives up that were revealed this week. Has anybody seen these before?
They do look familiar.
Oh my gosh. Before we get started, I want to ask you guys, what do you think about this re-releasing of exclusives? Because I have a very I have an opinion, and I don't think they should be re-releasing exclusives. Now, I understand that these are kind of mainline characters, and everybody should be able to get these characters into their collection. I agree with that. But I think that if a company like Hasbro is going to say, hey, Mindbender's a Comic-Con exclusive, and Serpentor's a PulseCon exclusive, I don't think that they should be like popping them back up for order multiple times throughout the year after those 2 exclusive events have finished.
Fair.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Steve-O. You go first.
Well, I agree with you, Vern, as far as the traditional way that they've done it, and for them to change course is strange. Is it fair? Is it right? Those are good questions to ask. I'd like to think they had a change of heart. They're trying to make it available to all collectors. They realize the value and the popularity of these figures, so they're doing their best to make sure everybody who wants them gets them by giving us a second chance at them, a third chance at them, a fourth chance at them. But if I'm really being honest, they're just trying to make money. They found out that they have something in such demand that they thought they can make it exclusive. And they realize we're leaving money on the table. Let's bring it out a second time. They made more. They bring it out a third time. They make more. That's their motivation right now. They're just trying to capitalize on the biggest profits they can off these. And I mean, why not? They should. They made them. And if collectors are going to get them and they make more money, then everybody's happy, I guess.
So in a sense, I do agree with what you said there, right? About getting them and making them. Eric saying kind of the same thing. Exclusives suck. But my point is, they sold these to me originally as these were going to be exclusives to these events. And part of the thing about going to like a convention is when you pack up and you take a trip and you go to a convention, they have exclusives there that are available for attendees. And then to just make them publicly available to anybody who didn't go to the convention, that kind of like stabs the person who like bought tickets, flew out. And I don't have a problem with helping other people get stuff if you go to a convention, right?
Yeah.
Because I have done that before, and I don't have any problem with that at all. My problem is calling them exclusives in the first place for the first batch of people who like got them because who waited by their computer, you know, hitting their button, or went to the convention and spent money on travel, hotel, whatever to get there, stood in a 2-hour line, you know, to get to their booth to be able to get it, just to find out that I could have just sat at home and waited like 4 months and then just clicked the button from an email. You know, that's what I'm really saying.
And that's a good point. It's a valid complaint. It's true. Yeah.
I was saying to you guys before we came on the air, my only assumption with this is that originally Emily had said these were going to be single releases, like in mainline. My guess is they realized they didn't want to take away these accessories that are kind of like needed for these figures. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to have Serpentor, you need the air chariot. If you're going to have Mindbender, you're going to need all the other stuff.
Look, Eric's saying there are more people who can't go to cons. You're absolutely right, because a convention can only hold X number of people in the first place, right? So I totally understand that. But there's going to be like Joe Fest exclusive figures. Valaverse already announced some. Unless somebody picks one up for me, there's no way I'm getting it, because I'm not going all the way over to Joe Fest. So I'm just going to have to live without the figure in my collection, or I'm going to have to find it on eBay and pay a premium for it later. Right? I don't think Valaverse is going to turn around and then take their Joe Fest exclusive and make it readily available to like everybody.
And if they do, it'll only be for till they sell out, and that'll be it. Like it'll be like a normal exclusive now, where like after the show's over, it'll go up for 24 hours or whatever and be gone.
But like if say you go to a Comic-Con or a convention and you buy like a shirt that's only sold at that convention, or you buy a pin, or you buy an exclusive item, right? And then you find out like months later, like you're wearing it around all proud that you went to this convention, only to find out that like, oh, now they're at like Target and everybody can get one. There was no point to like spend that money there, right? It's like these Cobra Kai pins from Icon Studios. They build these as like convention exclusives. There were like some different colored ones, but they're pretty readily available on their website. And it's kind of like, well, I mean, right? I don't know.
But you get first access at them. You get first crack at them at least. You got that going for you.
That's something different. Like if they say it's a convention first opportunity, other than exclusive. Now these, I disagree that Serpentor with the air chariot should have been considered an exclusive in the first place, because the regular release of that was a box with the Serpentor with the air chariot in it, right?
Yeah, originally.
And that's what I was saying to you, is that's why I think they decided, like, you know what, these are the mainline releases. We'll get them out so everybody can have them, and then we don't have to go back to these because everybody has both of these in their collection already.
Right. But Mindbender, I mean,
you can put him on a retro card.
Came out on a card. He didn't come out with all the accessories. All the accessories is what makes that guy an exclusive. It's like that special Zartan with the color changing skin and all the different heads and helmets. Why hasn't that guy been re-released like 100 times? And why hasn't the Supreme Cobra Commander been released a whole bunch of times? Right?
I think we've seen, though, like over the course of things now, a lot of these exclusives all go the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the Zartan I'm talking about.
Yeah. Shout out to Josh. Hook me up with this, baby. Love this thing. You got this, don't you, Vern?
I do.
That's the one I got.
You got it, Sith? Nice.
Yeah, so
I gotta open him up. I haven't done it yet, but he's
here. I'll just pull you up so you can show it off.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's an exclusive. There's a standard release version, right, to go along with it, but that was the convention exclusive. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think that one should be re-released 10 times or 5 times.
Exclusive packaging, exclusive accessories. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And what I'm talking about is like this. This is the I'm not even going to make that big because that's the one that I'm mad about.
Oh, the box on that one is, oh, that's magic. When you open that thing up, oh, dude, that thing is great. Yeah. Was it Cobra Commander Supreme or?
Yeah. That
This
guy
is the
just
only one I have. I don't even have the other Cobra Commander. Like this for me was like the perfect one. I was like, I need that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
but yeah,
so
there you go. Perfect. So that's the first one. That's the first Black Series exclusive, right? The Boba Fett with the Han and Carbonite.
So what I'm saying is, like, this was the convention exclusive in the middle with the Han and Carbonite and stuff like that. And they have since released Boba Fett and Han and Carbonite, but not in this package, the same one that they called the exclusive, right?
Yeah.
This was how they released the Sith Trooper. This was a Comic-Con exclusive. He came with those extra weapons. And then the regular release was in the regular box. And I think that that's 100% fine. It's exactly the same figure, right down to the Jyn Erso when they did the Comic-Con.
Oh, it's the one everybody wants.
Yeah, this is the funny part, right? There is
showed up, but that was the exclusive. You'd be pissed.
Yeah, there's nothing extra in that convention exclusive pack.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same. The only thing is they put the headdress on the figure for the regular release, and I think that's fine, you know. And then this of course was the Jabba the Hutt, and you know they had the Jabba the Hutt at Comic-Con. It came with the Salacious Crumb and the little side piece cardboard there. Yeah. But the picture on the left is how it looked in retail stores where it was just.
Yeah, I still need this. I've been looking everywhere for this for like a reasonable price, but no luck. I was hoping they were going to re-release it for Jedi because it would make the most sense, but God forbid.
40th anniversary? Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Sonny has joined us. Hey mates, and then Kat is here.
Sonny? What's up, Gator girl? What's up, Kat?
But I will tell you, like, my opinion is probably not very popular, right? Because everybody's like, oh, everybody should have everything. But I think I said it on Twitter, and then somebody immediately said, no, that's not true for me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, isn't there, I mean, don't you want something in your collection that's rare?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a value to having something exclusive. You don't want to exclude people, but do you want something rare and hard to get? Yeah. I mean, so where's your middle ground? Where do you fall in there?
Right. So if you're going to make an exclusive, that's where you make these like convention exclusive to, like, you know, where, you know, it's like it's almost like rewarding somebody for going to a convention. I get the idea that they were all like virtual this year, pretty much. Right. But like, and Hasbro didn't take anything to the convention center itself. It was all like the scan, like they did at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
And you could easily get all those exclusives from somebody like Return of the Nerds, who would just ship it from you from Thailand or whatever, because all that stuff he just had available, right down to the Favreau Mandalorian, heavy metal Mandalorian, and he probably still has that available. But
have you ordered from him? How much are you paying for like a vintage collection figure that's coming from overseas from him? Is it like twice as much, 3 times as much? What basically?
No. So the prices are pretty decent, like right around what you would pay here. It's the shipping. So just add on maybe like $25-$30 for shipping.
Okay. So then you're
more stuff
triple at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So the more stuff you put in there, like the better it is.
Okay, sure. The more you get.
Yeah.
Okay.
When the last time Vern ordered from them, it came pretty quick, like
it did.
2 weeks, right, Vern? Something like that. Yeah.
That's not bad. Oh, that's better than I would expect. That's cool.
Meanwhile, we're waiting for figures that should have long been out here.
Right.
So this is what somebody had told me. Like Eric saying he doesn't buy stuff because other people can't have it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like it's like having something rare in your collection. Like, to me, I have my vintage Kenner Star Wars figures, but if I could find a carded Boba Fett, a vintage one, I would definitely try to get it if it was affordable for me. And then that would become kind of like a centerpiece or a prize piece in my collection, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm really saying about having something of some type of rarity in there.
Yeah. It's nice to like you were saying, almost be rewarded for going to the con by having something that's like exclusive to that con. You couldn't order it online. You couldn't do anything. And like for memory's sake too, of like, every time you look at that, you know, like, hey, I got that at that con and I experienced this, and those memories come with it, you know?
Yeah.
But I can see it the other way too, of like, you know, I could see it both ways of you know, wanting it to be accessible to everybody, but then wanting certain stuff that's like, yeah, it's a rare item because you had to go to this convention or you had to be here to get it, you know, type thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And even like this Boba Fett that I have, the Kenner colored Boba Fett that I got from San Diego Comic-Con a few years ago.
That's
right.
the best.
That's what I'm talking about. That's an exclusive. They didn't re-release it a bunch of times. And you know what? I don't have any problem if they want to box it up and release it. You know what I mean? But don't put it on exactly the same card that it came with, the reflective card or whatever, or put it on like a standard card that's not reflective, but don't make it look exactly like the one you guys had from Comic-Con. That's what I'm saying.
That's a fair compromise. Yeah. Have an exclusive version of it and then have a regular release version of it. That's different enough to make one more special or stand out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. So when I saw those things go up, to me, I agree with you guys. I think it's just about, we got something that people want and we're going to make money on it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wish though that Jabba would be something that they re-released to make money off of.
Well,
I would take that exclusive one in a heartbeat with the backdrop and everything.
Sure. And I'm surprised we haven't got an announcement for the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi of Jabba the Hutt, because basically they don't have to do anything except
That's what I'm saying. They can literally re-release that same exact set and call it a day.
Could.
Yeah.
Just do some paint app updates just to make it a little bit different, and there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so we got we got the reveals. We got hot or not.
Part of the show.
Yeah, if you are a channel member, you have access to my special emojis. I have a hot emoji, I have a not emoji, and then I also put on a lava, because somebody said lava for something a couple of weeks ago. I don't think this week you'll probably.
I'm the one who does that all the time.
I use
the volcano emoji. Yeah.
Hey, you won't be using that one this week, I'm thinking, but we'll see.
Lava Luke and Grogu. Let's go.
All right. So they did reveal this Spider-Man 2 from the PlayStation 5 version of what? Spider-Verse or whatever?
Comes with a
Miles Morales.
You mean this one, right?
Yeah, that one. No, this one comes with a cat.
Yeah. That's and different color hands.
How many accessories are in that pack?
He's got an alternate head, 2 sets of hands, or 3 sets of hands, and then the armadillo Build-A-Figure.
Okay, wait. When you say 3 sets of hands, you're talking about 2, 4, 6 hands altogether?
Yeah, 6 hands altogether, plus the hands that he's got, on the figure. So, so 8 pairs of hands, really.
The 2 fire pieces and then an extra head, so that's 7.
Yeah,
and then the Build-A-Figure.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. So this is supposedly he's got 7 pieces in it because of the hands and whatever, I don't know, and the cat.
They just didn't give him the alternate head with this, and then instead of the Build-A-Figure, they gave him the cat.
Right.
Okay.
I think my big problem with the Spider-Man figures is I think they need to have the double peg heads with the neck to give them a little bit more emotional articulation in the head and neck.
That's what we were saying with the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. Like, that was my only complaint, is that his head only comes to here when he should be able to look all the way up, especially if you're posing him crouched down.
It seems like they're purposely withholding the perfect Spider-Man, because every iteration has one
little bit
that's better here and not there. Why don't they just add them all together so you can have the ultimate version that can do it all? Every piece can move like it's supposed to move, but no, they keep giving us bits and pieces in each rendition. It's bananas.
Right. Yeah. All right. So we got a lukewarm. Let's see. How is this figure a more normal price, but the Spider-Man is $35? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see, this
Good
is
question,
a
Eric. Good question.
Yeah, not hot. Less accessories and it will cost $15 more. That's true. Why Miles is less expensive than Peter? Seems shifty.
Yeah.
All right.
Indeed.
Anybody collecting these?
No, but they're cool. They're super cool.
I'm tempted.
I do think so.
The Secret of the Ooze 2-packs just went back up on Walmart, and I'm tempted. I bought one of each for my buddy who's a big Turtles fan. So I'm tempted to buy just a set of the two turtle packs for me to keep on the shelf, just to have some turtle representation. But that I don't dive into NECA stuff very much at all.
Right.
NECA's always risky, right? It's great, but it tends to snap on you for
and the price, like it's a lot more expensive, like of a hobby.
It really is, and especially if you're trying to collect a line or a team of turtles, then you're paying for it. But these are neat. The sculpt is neat. The idea is neat. How it all translated, all the accessories. Yeah, they really made him look like the Invisible Man wrapped in bandages, and he's got like the hollowed out eyes. So when he's not wearing glasses, the goggles, it's just like empty voids there. That's wild.
Yeah. It does look really.
They do a really awesome job with a lot of this stuff.
They do.
I don't collect them at all, but they do look cool.
Yeah.
All right. Invisible feet to change out. That's cool. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah. Here's the one.
I'm sorry. I have to laugh because
do you think he really could stand like that with 1 foot? Because I can balance figures pretty well, but it better be a strong peg if he's going to stand kind of at an angle with his foot on that
like
side
that
of the
running.
Rock.
Yeah, I
call foul. I think that's hard to do. I want to see a person get it in hand and actually pull it off.
Yeah,
so now, are you guys in on this? That should be the first question.
No.
I mean, when it goes on clearance for
maybe. Okay, there you go. Maybe
under 20, I will. Yeah, but
But the funny thing is, you could take
I picked it up. I was in on it.
You're in on it. I don't blame you. It'd be fun to get in hand and see what you can do with it. That's for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing
my thing for the longest time was an accurate Grogu.
Is this accurate?
It's scaled accurate. It looks like, and it looks like he can actually hold stuff and move. You know, it's not just a solid chunk of plastic.
No, I mean that first one that came in the little tiny box that was like $9.99. He moved his arms, hands, his little feet moved and stuff like that, and he came with the same product.
Like if you like look, this is the.
Okay, well, a lot of people want it. There's a lukewarm. It's like he can balance.
He can balance.
I want it. I pre-ordered it. I bought it.
So like this is how Grogu, like this is the one you can buy a Five Below for $5, and that's more accurately scaled than the than the Black Series one.
Yeah, I don't. Isn't that one with the mission? Wasn't the Mission Fleet one actually more scaled better than the Black Series one? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah,
it might have been the one that came with the Razor Crest. It might have been.
Yeah, that, and he had the little his little pram was bigger too. Yeah, I was like. Okay.
So I've been one of the people that have been begging them to add stuff. The Yoda 2-pack was $10 less than this. So. Yeah,
but you got a rock. You got a rock.
Yeah. You got the training thing. You got the lightsabers. You got the
lightsaber. I like the case, the chest that the lightsaber comes in. That's cool.
You got the little the pouch that Eric from Hasbro didn't know what was actually in the pouch. If you watch the video, like he's just like, oh, it's Grogu's gift.
Like the gift.
You didn't know what the pouch was for?
No, he just was like, oh, it's you have Grogu's little gift that's wrapped just to look like him, and didn't know what was in the actual gift.
That's funny. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you could be all
it's an
in
accurate
and you it's dumb, but you want to see what this thing looks like. Everybody's interested in seeing how this turns out in hand, and
Okay.
I would have liked more than just one rock though. Like it would have been nice if they would have included like at least the other base that came with the sequel trilogy Luke, you know, because like that would match with this too.
That'd be cool.
Well,
or a little bench or something, you know, like a little bit more would have been nice, but I'm not like for the price and what's included in it. I'm not gonna complain about it. You know what I mean? Like it's not it's not the carbonized $79 2-pack. You know what I mean?
That is true.
I'm gonna call this Luke Skywalker in the karate gi.
That's what it is. It totally is. He's wearing a black gi. Yeah. I still don't like the head sculpt.
Collects joined us.
It's not capturing Luke Skywalker in his face to me. Maybe in person it'll look a little bit better.
Yeah, the figure arts ones are still like the perfect Luke, I think, so far. Like I finally caved and ordered my first Mafex. I ordered the Mandalorian 2.0 that's supposed to come out at the end of the year. So
Mafex
I'm looking
cool.
forward to it because it looks like the perfect Mando.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody collect these?
This is Mythic Legions.
Yeah.
I'm missing the like they're into the space version of Mythic Legions now. I miss the more medieval versions. I wish they'd go back to those. But
yeah, this guy's kind of weird because I feel like this is that one on that alien autopsy.
It totally is. He absolutely is.
So no, I won't.
Goes after he dies. He used to be blue.
I mean, that might work though, like with your Star Wars figures. You know what I mean? That might be a nice like background character or something. It looks like it could.
Could be, yeah. You can do a head pop on there.
The hood off.
Yeah,
it's good face sculpt.
Cosmic Legions.
The eyes look good. Cosmic, yeah, from Mythic to Cosmic. Thank you.
Cosmic Legions, yeah.
Okay, Cosmic.
Some fans in there, anyways. Harry from Resident Evil, Alien.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. We'll just move on.
The 4 Horsemen make good stuff, so you know it's quality.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the vintage collection cabinet. When I first saw the picture, I was like, "Is that one of those retros?" But this is a vintage collection, and I don't collect vintage collection, so you guys have to tell me whether or not this is worth it.
Steve-O's the vintage guy.
Yeah. You know what? The thing about vintage is that it's easier to collect in the sense that it takes up less space and you can store it better. So you can build a bigger arsenal of Star Wars guys at a 3.75 scale than you can at a 6-inch scale. But I mean, they're both great to have. There's no lie. But yeah, like in the card looks great. The hat looks a little big on his head to me. But other than that, he looks like he's got it all going on. So, and I'm excited about the retro one too. I want to get both of them.
Yeah, is that what did they show a retro one this week too?
They pipelined they showed the retro. It's coming out. I think later this year. I don't remember
first before this one. I think it was like they showed the retro one first and then this one because they showed the retro Santo too. The retro Chrysanthemum.
They did.
I'm looking forward to this getting sized up to 6-inch scale because I think it looks fantastic. Like they nailed it for the look of Boba, you know what I mean? Like for the changes between the animation and then this version, I definitely want to have the live action Cad Bane on the shelf. Like that's a cool one.
Yeah,
and then I don't know if you guys noticed it, but on the Luke packaging, you saw the teaser for Santo on the side art. So
you can see like the shoulder.
You see the shoulder pad.
Okay, well, I'll have to take that with a grain of salt because I saw somebody put it up next to the one that he was supposed to. Usual Mike had the two.
Usual Mike.
And I was next to Boba Fett, I think, right? And I was like, I think they just made that fit. Like, I feel like they had something else in there before when they did the Boba or whatever, and then when they put him in there, I was like, I don't know. That kind of doesn't look like they just changed the art to make sure you put the rest of his hand. It didn't seem like a fit.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to Chrysanthemum. That's one like I really hope they nail. Like I know it's going to be a $30-something price point, but I would really like them to nail him.
I mean, other than Vern's custom right here.
That's your Boogaloo. That's Boogaloo Studios
one. Yeah. I mean, this is phenomenal how it turned out. The face on this guy, the expression, a little snaggletooth, and the armor looks great. So I don't even think the Hasbro retro is going to look this good, but I'm excited to get them side by side to see. This guy's super fun. So Babaluga, you just follow him on Instagram, Babaluga_Studios, and he makes a run of them, and then he's done, and then he moves on to another character. So
that's really cool.
I've yet to see him re-release any of them. He may, or he may come out with like a prototype version and a painted version. But once he moves on to the next thing, like the next Star Wars property that comes out and he starts making new characters, it's kind of like a limited. So you talk about exclusives, you can get them, but you got to be fast. That's what I'm talking about.
That's mine.
You nailed that. Got beefy and badass. That's awesome.
The paint jobs are never really that good on my customs, but
But on the shelf, when you look at it from across the,
that's exactly. You gotta look at them through my eyes while I'm not wearing glasses.
There you go. Perfect.
And the other Santo, the comic book one, it's on sale on Hasbro's eBay page right now, like cheap.
Oh, nice.
So G-Force was triple hot on this guy. So
Definitely.
Yeah, he looks cool. Like really, I mean, you know, for TVC fans, that's awesome. And like, I feel like even when you watch like the streams, that Emily girl knows what she's doing, and like you could tell she's an actual fan of the product and what she's putting out. The other ones, they don't give that same vibe. That like they don't even know what they're talking about most of the time when it comes to like the figures. But you could tell that like since she's been promoted to heading the TVC line, the TVC releases all have been good. Like there really hasn't been one where like I've seen backlash and complaints like there has been in the Black Series line.
Sure.
Gap's asking, since we're openers, you guys throw your packaging away?
No.
I keep the cards.
I've been keeping these packages.
You just flatten them out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep them. I was having this conversation with my buddy the other day, and I was telling him like, oh, I have all the boxes, like still, like I keep everything, you know, for the stuff that I open. And I was like, because one day, like, it's all going to have to go to you at some, you know, like, it's all yours to decide what to do with it.
Oh, I thought you were going to give them all to me.
Okay. Well, whoever goes first, Vern, you or me. But you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know if they're going to want to keep all of this stuff. So, like, at some point, if you want to sell it down the line, you're going to need the boxes and the packaging to put it back in and sell it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So,
all right. What about these monsters? Anybody?
They look cool.
Yeah, those could look good.
I dig
them. On those, it's pretty impressive.
That's the other thing too. Like I was making fun of the Hasbro photography with that Luke. I don't know if you guys saw any of my pictures that I started putting up. But one of them, I think I just had him like giving a presentation, like how I became a Jedi, and then that running one, I put him in a soccer photo.
That was great. The soccer run.
Shooting the galaxy is going to block you.
Probably. But I mean, like, I don't know why he's stuck with that. But I mean, is because it can't do much else, right? But yeah, the photography on these are great, and I think the previous version of this one was a black and white, but I think this color one looks fantastic.
Does he need 8 hands? Do any of those hands look different than the others?
It's for swimming. I mean, like they're one they're like this. One, they're like this.
Yeah.
One.
Right. That's it. Okay.
subtle little differences. One.
Yeah, one's like this. And if you didn't notice, he has one like this.
Right. If you're an expert swimmer, you see the differences. You know what they're doing here. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut.
No, I have no idea. But
great.
All right. And then, I was just, I mean, the photos on it are stunning. I really like the backgrounds that they've done on these.
Yeah, that looks
cool.
You
definitely want to take that guy to the beach and do a shoot. Yeah.
And then I think we talked about this before, but like this is the, Mezco, right?
Mezco.
That looks good.
Yeah, I think they nailed it. I think it came up on my feed because when I'm looking for new releases, I think this one finally went, for order or something is why it came up. And I know we had talked about this already. So I just threw the picture in there.
Do you have the new Into the Spider-Verse figures in your slideshow?
I don't know.
The leaked ones.
I was gonna say, like, what do you guys think about those? Yeah.
They're at the end. I got some at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And then I did these are the Super 7s or whatever, right? So I'll just like the Power Rangers.
Nice.
I know you're really into Power Rangers.
Yeah. I'm not in any of the Super 7s. I was gonna get the Rita, but then I had heard that they're gonna re-release Rita and Zed in the 30th line. So I decided, like, all right, I'll just wait for them. But yeah.
All right. Steve-O, you?
Yeah, I think they're good looking. I'm not going to pick them up, but they certainly are cool. They catch your eye.
Do you think if
definitely check out Sith's review?
You're not going to order them, but like say if you were in a Super 7 store and it just happened to be there, do you think you might change your mind? Like, oh yeah, since I'm here.
Well, Super 7's got a lot of things that pique my interest that come a little bit ahead of Power Rangers, but there's no lie that the White Ranger, that's awesome. And the 3 heads you get,
Yeah.
Especially, and the actor just passed. That would be a beautiful one to have in the collection.
It would.
Yeah, my only complaint is the scale of them being like, 7 inches instead of
a little bit bigger.
6. I have that same issue with McFarlane too, like them being 7 inches instead. Like if they all just fit, I'd be good, no problem.
Yeah,
but I do. The one thing about Super 7 I do love is like they pay attention to like the most minuscule things from the TV show and then bring it to life in the figures, like all these little accessories, all these different little things from the show that like most companies would never pick up on. Like it might have only appeared in one episode, but here it is with the figure. You know what I mean? I think that's cool.
So with the scale though, wouldn't that be kind of cool in a little bit bigger scale?
Yeah. And then you have the Lightning Collection ones, which are, a much bigger scale. But yeah, really cool. Like I think that's cool that they include like the monsters, the Zords, all in one thing, and then it's up to you. Like you can have the Zords facing off against the monsters or the Rangers against the monsters type thing.
Is that Rita in white?
No, that's I forget her name. I'm gonna get blasted in the comments for not knowing the name.
Like the Death Strike claw she's got.
She's one of the monsters though from original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The original season. She's the one that sings the opera one.
Oh,
this is the funniest part about some of these. Like I was showing you guys last week. If you saw, I was showing a Kakaida record. It's this these two Japanese superheroes. They're kind of like half machine. Now I don't speak Japanese, so like when I watched them as a kid and they're speaking Japanese, like I don't know what they're saying. I'm just in it for like the action. You can kind of follow the story along with what's going on. But there were always these beginning scenes because one of the guys had a guitar and one of the guys had like a trumpet, and there was always this thing where you had like the main bad guy and they had all their little minion enemies, and then the guy would be at the top of the hill with his guitar when he's strumming the guitar. Like, I was like, he's not a very good musician if he's hurting their ears. When you're saying that she's opera, that's what that made me think of. Definitely.
Yeah, those Lightning Collection Power Rangers that came with the bikes.
Yeah,
they hit clearance like a week after they went on the shelves.
Yeah, I got Zane. I picked him up for $15. I couldn't beat it. But the problem with him is,
who cares? So you got the bike. That's all that matters.
Yeah, like he's awesome on the bike. He looks cool, but
oh no,
I'm gonna.
Like
I want to
the freezer for a while.
So that's the problem with those. That I think that's why they all went to clearance, because they had a lot of QC issues with those last two waves.
I'm totally going for the bikes because I'm going to do Battlestar Galactica 1980 customs with them.
Okay. I got lucky though with Izzy. I got Izzy, and everybody had problems with her with like the head popping off and the neck peg snapping, and no problems. Like she's a fantastic figure. She's not loose, nothing.
That's good.
So she looks really awesome.
Sometimes you just get a bad batch.
Yeah. I think it has to do with that dude getting, losing his job though. I think that's.
You think so?
There was more to it. You know what I mean?
All right, these were shared. These were shared from Valaverse. This is that new vehicle.
That's the Valaverse vehicle.
It's going to be big, and I was speculating it was going to be super expensive. But now that I've seen these like 3D renders, I have a feeling like they're going to render that out and mold it. It's not going to look. I mean, it does look very detailed, right, for that vehicle. But I think that it's probably going to be a few $100s less than I was speculating. I'm still guessing. Yeah,
is it going to be McFarlane
like
vehicle money,
or
something?
Or
is it going to be Hasbro vehicle money?
No, yeah, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be more expensive than that HasLab. I think somebody said that they claimed it was going to be around $350 or something, but I'm guessing it's going to be $5.
You think so? You think it's going to be that expensive?
Yeah. I don't think
2-man vehicle or 4-man.
Once I heard that they made the deal with a real company that designs military vehicles, I was like, oh, that's going to be it's a cool concept to think about, but that's going to be pricey if that's what you're going to be doing.
I think it's supposed to fit 6 or 7 in there.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because there's a back seat, then a rear hatchback, a rear area, and then a turret.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
And now, weren't you saying that like the concept is to do like build up packs for it almost like to, so like if you want to add rocket launchers to it, you could buy this build up pack and add these things onto it, right? That's like
yeah.
their
So
concept.
from what I understand is
Okay.
like I heard Bobby said 300 to 350. I think it's going to be more than that. We'll see what the ultimate pricing comes out at.
That's
But
expensive, man. Especially like when I just bought a Batmobile for $60.
yeah. So
Right.
so the thing is with what they said was because it's got that turret on the top, and I think the turret is going to be able to, you can put like a missile launcher on there, or it'll be a turret where a guy will sit. Those will probably be like build up packs, and I bet you those won't be cheap either.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
But anyways,
Wow. If it's that expensive, though, I'd love to see what Articulated Ninja has to say about that. Oh my God.
I saw
That dude's a fan of Valaverse, and I don't know how he can be of two minds when it comes to that kind of price tag. But we'll see.
Yeah.
we'll see, right? Like hopefully it won't be that much, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways.
This is more Cosmic Legions, right? I mean, these are,
Yeah.
look at this,
I think this was
phenomenal.
the latest one. This one looks
Holy
really,
cow.
really cool.
That looks like
Yeah.
a real thing that's going to fly up and drill you in the face.
Right?
Man,
it's
that
it's
thing is
one
wild.
figure. It comes with the two heads and stuff like that. So that's why I did the two pictures to show the differences or whatever. But
Okay.
it looks super cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that does look cool.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. When I just grabbed the pictures and stuff like that. So sorry, guys.
We're
What
gonna
kind
have
of
G-Force
a
buying
toy
all
show
kinds
was
of Mythic Legion. He's like, what's the name of that one?
Yeah, right.
What kind of a
Add
toy
to
show is
carts.
this? You guys don't know what toys you're showing. So here's these like Spider-Verse reveals.
Man.
Here's what I thought was interesting is like this guy's in a box and the other
Girl.
two, oh, okay, this one's in a box and the other ones are like on cards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting that they
true.
did
Yeah.
was a difference because I'll just see that's a card
Right.
and this is a box.
Yeah.
I can't
So-
wait for
Yeah,
the movie, but these
I'm not
figures
in
are,
on
ugh.
all these, but I do kind of want the Gwen. I missed Gwen in the last
Mhm.
movie when she was out. So like to have her on a card back to put with my Spider-Man stuff, I think I'll pick her up. But
Mhm.
the other ones I'm not real crazy about. I don't like
Yeah.
that like cartoon style proportioning that they did to all of them.
They
All
did
right.
such a good job with the first wave
Yeah.
for the original Spider-Verse movie, and these look
Just
like a
it up.
totally different direction. Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
look like cheap, but they're
Yeah.
supposed to be made like the same as a Legend. Yeah.
I
Well, they
know.
say Marvel Legends on the box, but these do remind me of those ones that just sit in the little box where they don't have any
Yeah.
plastic on them,
Yeah.
and they're like
Mhm.
$10 cheaper or whatever. That's what they totally remind me of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This
This
guy
might be
doesn't
the way
have any
we have
shoes.
to go to SH Figure Arts or Mafex version of, because I don't think Marvel Legends is really getting it with this version.
Yeah.
We'll
Not
have
with
to wait
these.
and see. I love Spider-Punk. I want to see that character so bad, but they leaked images of him. Oh, he looks rough.
Yeah, it looks bad.
He looks a little bit better in hand. I saw Sleeping Collectibles found like some of this wave already.
No way, he did.
And
Holy
he
cow.
posted pictures in hand today of like the
Okay.
of Spider-Punk and a couple of them. Spider-Punk does look actually a little bit better in person than it does in
Well,
the
that's
digital
encouraging.
render.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah, but the
So,
movie's going to be great. Oh, check this dude out.
and this is a newer version of the Ultraman, but I have a previous Ultraman that came out. I think it's the same one, almost.
You got to get that cross arm pose for him, so that's cool.
Yeah. I have that one.
That's a must.
Oh, that's cool.
So we'll just see like what the height is on that one, because I was a little disappointed in some of these how they come out to be a little bit shorter. But
No, he's got to be tall. Yeah.
yeah, you want him to be like a little bit bigger than everybody. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's Ultraman. I grew up watching that too. Still didn't understand what they were saying.
Didn't need to. Just watch him kick ass.
You know what I wish that they do with these Ultraman though is they had the monster attack team or whatever, the Matt guys, and they had these like orange jumpsuit type outfits, and they had these like special helmets or whatever. I wish that they would come out with those guys. Yeah, and make them
Maybe they're next.
available. Yeah, hopefully that would be kind of cool. And then, of course,
Wow.
we got. I wanted to show this because I thought the face sculpt on this one was really, really good. That's why I did that.
Yeah.
Really
close
nice. I'm tempted by this. I didn't pre-order. I did pre-order the Mando though. That's in this the Mando 2.0. It comes with so much stuff. It comes with like 2 Grogus, one in the sack, and then one like regular scale one. But they nailed this one. The only problem now is the inaccuracy on the
It's already out of date. Yeah, you're right. It's already out of date.
Yeah, that's too bad, right?
How many more changes is Bo-Katan going to go through this season? You know.
Yeah, we don't know. She might get some new, some totally new upgrades. But
her hair's already longer than that. Her hair's longer than that already.
She may ditch the 2 weapons when she gets the Darksaber.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, for that period of time, Bo-Katan, it's beautiful. So
and it comes with a bunch of accessories. It comes with like flames for her jetpack. It comes with a the grappling hook launcher. It comes with the only thing it's missing is the shield piece. I wish they would included like the arm shield.
That's cool.
Silver Sharpie takes care of the shoulder.
That's right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And our friend
Vern already took care of business.
Over at 2757 Studios, they have them available that you can buy them already. Like they literally printed them and they're ready to go already.
There you go. Swap them out.
You could just you pop the arm out, you put the new pauldron on and pop the arm back in. You're good to go.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. And then, of course, on the 29th, we got the Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Hasbro Pulse, fan stream. I haven't seen the movie. Is it even out yet?
No, not
I
yet.
have no idea.
So it'll be interesting to know like what kind of stuff they're going to announce for that, because, I mean, I feel like they kind of released everything already.
And I feel like nothing's selling in either of the lines. Like, at least by me, all the retro ones are still just sitting on the pegs, and then all the movie ones are just sitting on the pegs. So, like, I don't think anybody really cares.
Well,
unfortunately,
this could change.
The movie could change all that, but right now it's not a lot of excitement.
I
mean, I was more excited about.
Wouldn't you hear like a lot more hype about like, hey, this Dungeons and Dragons movie is coming? Like,
you'd hope so.
It could, who knows, right? Like,
John
but I wasn't.
Campia gave it a good review. He said it's a lot of fun, so that's all I want. I want to go and have a good time. So he seems to think it's definitely a fun time.
I know Smith Lord. He posted a picture in one of our group chats of like the cameo of the original. Like, there is some sort of cameo with like the original ones from the cartoon in one. He said
he got that from a trailer, and I've been watching the trailer trying to find it, and I haven't seen it, so I don't know if that's like.
Yeah, I don't know either. It could be photoshopped or something like that, but yeah.
But they had that in the Haulathon, that NECA Dungeons and Dragons figure they got. That guy is more interesting than these movie figures.
What, the Warduke one?
Yeah. I'm gonna throw another.
Did you guys do any of the Haulathon stuff?
No. I'm gonna throw another number out there, and you guys in the chat, if you want to participate, just if you could guess what it is. Not yet. I haven't.
Giveaway time. Let's go.
Anyway, so between 1 and 30, and I just put it in the chat. So we'll see what happens.
30. Let's go. Good luck, everybody. So start the countdown.
So let me tell you, that is a good guess.
Out of
not good enough.
Maybe he meant 3. He was so excited he said it twice.
Oh, there you go. Duffman. So Duffman, you got it. It's exactly the same.
Picking up on the theme.
Anyways, I got a carbonized figure. They're my favorite. So you got to go to find my email address on my webpage, and then just shoot me an email and tell me where to get that to.
Vern's a Jordan fan.
Man.
Anyways, those are the. That was pretty fast, and I was surprised that wasn't like everybody's first guess.
To guess it
again. Will be the third time.
Look at G-Force. I'm not going to put that on the screen because I'm family friendly environment.
Dude, that's
anyway.
Awesome.
I don't know. I interrupted you. You were right in the middle of saying something when I cut you off to do that. You
Who
remember
was?
what you were talking?
I don't remember.
You.
We'll start fresh.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys have anything going on this week? Anything coming up?
I'm going on vacation, so
Where you going?
My wife's and I anniversary. We're going on a cruise, so
Happy
I'm
anniversary.
going to bring Mando and Grogu with me and take some shots. We're going to go back to Puerto
Action
Rico
figure
and Dominican
overboard.
Republic. So I'm going to take them on tour with me and hopefully get a good little film on Mando on vacation and put that together and put it up on the channel when I get back.
That'll be fun. That'll be cool. Hope you have a good time, Steve-O. Be safe.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, we haven't cruised since before the pandemic. We used to go pretty regularly, so it's been a few years we've had to wait, so it'd be fun. Looking forward to it.
That'll be fun. That'll be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I just got a couple of videos that I've been putting together. The last lore video I did really well, so people seem to want more of those types of things. So I've been working on another one. My pitch for Kenobi season 2.
Oh, good.
So
dude. Yes.
I'm almost done with that.
Okay.
I'll put that up on the channel, and then I'll show you guys a preview of something. I showed Vern a preview of it.
I hope there's Kenobi season 2. That'd be great. I got to see
Just think Saturday night
with Qui-Gon.
Hold on, I'm gonna move the camera here. So just bear with me. So I got a video on this that I worked on. My
that's
Power
cool.
Rangers Command Center. That's coming.
Cool.
That's the Power Rangers Disco Center. What are you talking about?
Yeah. You wanted me. What was the song you wanted me to play?
I wanted you to do a short, like filming it, but use some
Saturday Night
music
Live,
from
right?
Saturday Night Fever,
Yeah.
right?
Dude, that is good. That came out awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That
so
is nice.
I got the consoles 3D printed by somebody, but everything else is foam. So it came out pretty cool. So I
like it.
And then I'm working on an Endor one too. So that's been taking me quite some time.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
So,
All right.
but Mando and Bad Batch season finale, and we got 2 episodes of Bad Batch and then Mando. So should be an interesting week.
Yes.
It bugs me still that they cram both of them on at the same time. Why can't they space them out? Give them both their own day to celebrate.
That's exactly.
Fans don't
right.
have to feel like they have to cram them both in before they get spoiled.
Or
Listen,
one
what's the
gets
point of doing
outshined
that?
by the other, like that
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
I wish The Mandalorian was on Fridays,
Yeah.
Sure.
and that's what I think. And I've seen, you know how like
And at like a normal time, like hey, 8 o'clock on Friday, like Last of Us was doing or something.
like The Last of
Right.
Us.
Why do we have to wait till 3 a.m. on the East Coast? That's dumb.
And like with The Last of Us, I was like kind of, I wished that was on Friday. I hated the Sunday. We were having to wait through the whole weekend, right?
Yeah.
But I wish it was like either Thursday or Friday, and then like Disney Plus would do the thing where it was like a time, like, you know, yeah.
Hey, 8 o'clock, air time, and then we'd all be sitting there at the same time watching
exactly,
it, which I think did very well for last. Like they were getting up to 9 million people to watch live. Like that doesn't happen anymore for TV shows at all.
It doesn't. You're right. Yeah.
So I mean, if they did something along those lines, I think they would notice that it would be more successful and more people would be talking about it at one given time instead of like for me, for instance, I have to go to work, you know, so I wake up an hour and a half early to watch Mando before I even go to work, because if I don't, as soon as I go on my phone, it's spoiled for me. You know what I mean?
Spoiled.
So like, I just rather get it out of the way in the morning.
Wait, hold on. You're saying as soon as I go on my phone, it's spoiled for me, because as soon as I go on my phone, you spoiled it for me.
Hey, I've been waiting one full day, 24 hours. That's the rule in the group chat. I wait till the next day. I don't tweet about anything. If I do, I don't put any spoilers in the tweets until the next day. So that's what I've been doing to try to keep it. So like, hey, if you can't watch it right away, don't worry, you know, but yeah.
Did you
right.
see?
You get everybody to watch at the same time, then everybody can celebrate it at the same time. If it's a 9 o'clock,
it could be viewing, appointment television
Exactly.
instead of just watch it when you watch it type thing. Yeah.
Tess tweeted out some spoilers. He had like Batman and Robin walking on the side of a building, and another picture of, I think, was it? I can't remember exactly.
Like those
he had like 4
spoilers.
pictures,
like the spoilers without context. Yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I saw him and I was like, okay, something's happening. I don't know.
And you get an idea, but it's not always 100%.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's not a picture of him on
you
best,
push the
that's
boundary.
ruining
You talk about Andor all the time, so Lucasfilm did something.
Fuck you, Jonah. So Steve-O, I was not a fan of the Andor show. So
that's all right.
Connor and Jonathan, they like telling me how much it's my favorite show, but that's our long-standing joke of Waze loves Andor so much.
oh, it's a joke.
Dead serious, baby.
Oh my gosh, the best parts about Andor was knowing that you could buy those beach chairs on Amazon.
True.
And
like I just that set in your back patio. Yeah,
I just kept seeing all the stuff in there, and I was like, oh, they just went on Amazon and ordered a whole bunch of stuff for this show.
I found myself more interested in everybody else but Andor, like Luthen.
They brought in a lot of compelling characters, that's for sure.
Mon Mothra. Like I wanted to see more of them and less of him doing nothing. Like to me, it gave me
a character building. I'm with Eric. Andor was really great, top notch Star Wars TV. Yeah.
So Andor was top notch show, whether it was Star Wars,
the dialogue,
exactly.
and the scenery, fantastic. The cinematography, amazing. The set building, boom. Nothing happened in the whole entire first season. Nothing of importance to Star Wars happened in the first season. Nothing.
Andor?
Yeah.
No. They were building the Death Star.
Wow.
They were. With those little spider droids that you saw.
He built one little part on the thing that he died. Transmorting.
Well, we'll see, because
that's my point to the show. Is like they're all dead. It doesn't. They all die.
Mon Mothra, didn't she have to do like some engagement party for her daughter, right? And that guy's son. So we'll see what that builds into, and then you may have to eat crow here, because like when you find out that those little bits that they threw out there really tie into something major later on, you're going to be
that's all I've been waiting for is something to come of it, because like the bank job, for instance, they did a bank job and left people alive to witness them. Like, why would you leave anybody alive?
Look, in Ocean's 11. In the Mini Cooper one with John Cena's
Italian Job.
Yeah. They left people alive.
Yeah, they're not heartless killers. Yeah.
I mean, they're bank robbers. I mean,
they got convictions.
Yeah, but if you're good things with that money. It's gonna catch back to you in that sense. I don't know. There was a lot of things with the show that I didn't care for, and it wasn't for me. It wasn't it didn't feel like Star Wars to me. It was a political drama that they attached Star Wars to.
I think they just completely filled in a whole bunch of like gaps in the Star Wars universe that we would never have had an opportunity to see otherwise.
Yeah. And they're showing the people who like if you never watch Rebels, if you never watch Clone Wars, you would never know about like the struggle of ordinary people. Rebels did a fantastic job of showing you that, and the impression that normal people in the galaxy were going for. So for the people that never got that, Andor beat you over the head with it every week. So it was like, if I get the real world comparisons and what we're going through now in real life and how they were trying to mirror those things, because that's again what Star Wars has always been. But for me, I'm not the biggest fan of that director and his I'm holier than thou type persona of like everything I do is better than everybody else because I'm not a Star Wars fan. It turns me off in that aspect. It's just like, come on, dude, you didn't even direct Rogue One. You directed one scene in Rogue One and they put your name on the movie.
Yeah.
I just
you're talking about Gilroy.
Yeah.
Gilroy's, yeah. I mean, he's good at what he does, but he's not humble.
He's a pompous asshole. That's all. Like,
right.
Yeah.
He's not.
But I appreciate that you get it. I appreciate that you understand what Andor is, what
I
it's saying, what it does.
like,
you don't have to love
what,
it.
What the principle was and the purpose. Yeah, it's just for me, like, Mando evokes everything from me that makes me feel Star Wars. Like, I love every single aspect about it. Andor was just like, I'm dealing with all of this shit in real life on a daily basis. I don't need to be reminded of it every week that we're the same as them right now. Like, because that's what they were trying to show you, that, you know, we're dealing with the same exact problems. Just, are you paying enough attention to witness it go on in front of you?
Andor was definitely a mirror, and Mando's an escape. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And to me, that's what Star Wars has always been for me personally, is just an escape, and I can drift off into another galaxy. I don't need to feel like I'm like just you know,
the oppression,
being depressed on a weekly basis watching the show.
Oh man, the prisons episodes though with
Andy Serkis for
Andy
me
Serkis was phenomenal, and to see his change of character, and he can't swim at the end. Oh my gosh, that was heart-wrenching. Wow.
And now for me, the fun part in that would be is if we see him in Mount Tantus now. Like, he got captured because he couldn't swim. We see him at Mount Tantus, and we get our little connection to Snoke. Like,
I'd be up for it.
I'm cool with it. Happen. You know what I mean? Like, they used Keno Lloyd's DNA as Snoke. Like,
why not? Right?
Right? Like,
Snoke can't swim, but he doesn't need to. He's in space.
I mean, I loved Andy Serkis, though. I would love to see him come back again, you know, as that role in the second season at some point. Mon Mothra was fantastic. Like,
brilliant.
She is top notch. Like, give me more of her. And you know, like, that's where I found myself, where like everybody else outshined the character who the show is made about.
Right.
Look, Jonathan, the bad Mon Mothra was the worst parts of Andor.
Jonah, she's a 60-year-old woman, and I've never been attracted to a 60-year-old before. I was all in on Mon.
Oh wow. Yeah, she's exceptional.
All right.
That's funny.
And we should see more of her, maybe in Mando, maybe in things to come going forward from that.
Sure.
So, because she's the one who ends up leading the New Republic.
Oh, but I heard Ryan Johnson was writing an episode where she's basically just going to become the daughter of two traders. Some.
Oh man!
Like in the aftermath,
where are they going to pick up the cloning arc in Mando? What more are we going to see? You know, we've seen the vats of those tubes. Where is that Snoke? We know what Pershing was doing. We see him give his TED talk. What becomes of that? Do we get Jorce Sabayoth? Does he show up, or do we actually see?
We've yet to see Christopher Lloyd, and we know he's in this season. We know Christopher Lloyd's in this season of Mando, and we have yet to see him, and that was who everyone was like speculating.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think they need to include Jorce in anything.
Yeah.
But they definitely, like, I've heard theories that Moff Gideon's a clone himself. Like that would explain like why, you know, one version of him went off to prison and another one's doing all, like,
one shows up.
Somebody was pitching that as a theory. I definitely think, like we were saying earlier, there's a cloning facility on Mandalore. Like, I think that's where, because if Tantus gets destroyed in Bad Batch, like we're going to see maybe next week, then maybe that's where they've been this whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even heard rumors that what's his name could possibly be voicing Grogu, Christopher Lloyd.
Do you know why I don't speculate?
Why?
About what's going to happen? Because we did this whole speculation for that WandaVision, and like nothing turned out the way we expected. It was like
thought it was all along.
I'm trying to guess how these guys are going to like roll up their stuff, because it doesn't matter what's already been out there, because they just change. They'll just change it, and it'll never end up how you want it.
No, That's
It's just the
true,
fun
but
of it.
sometimes you can see the tea leaves and kind of foresee what's going to happen.
No,
You
they
can though
they're taking you
sometimes.
out with those tea
If
leaves.
it's logical, then yeah, you can. Because most times, like you could be like, all right, I logically see them going this way.
They're fooling you.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, all these guys that are all into it, we're gonna fool them, and then it's gonna turn out that.
Well, that's what I think they're doing with Bo. I think they're getting every one of you guys to. I love Bo-Katan. I love Bo-Katan. And then when she fucking stabs Din in the back to take that saber, everyone's gonna be like, "This fucking bitch!"
He's gonna give it up. He tried to give it to her. So when they fight for it, it's no skin off his back. And by that time, it'll be too late. He'll probably go with her to get the mythosaur. And then what'll end up happening is he'll end up riding the mythosaur. And she'll end up like getting upset that he's the one that was able to tame the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even though
everything and Bo has nothing. Whoa.
Yeah.
And like I was saying to you, I think you're going to see the same thing happen with Thrawn. I think they're setting up the swerve where, like, you're going to think he's the hardcore villain, and then the swerve is going to be, well, why is Ezra working with him now all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And you're going to be left like, wait, what the fuck is going on type thing. And that's more exciting than, Thrawn is just continuing Palpatine's plan and getting us there.
Yeah.
Jonathan's saying that it was the writers of WandaVision that never read the comics. I guess what I'm having trouble here is separating the fact that Hasbro is not writing The Mandalorian.
They come out with carbonized characters in the Mandalorian episode, then we'll know Hasbro's crossed the line. Yeah.
So Cobb Vanth is coming back as for Justified. There's going to be
got a new spinoff in a new city. Yeah,
that's true.
So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see. Cool. We'll see if he returns to the Star Wars if he's got this other show going on.
Well, the rumor is that Mando season 4 and Boba season 2 are already written and ready to go. Like
there's Boba season 2, you think?
That they're supposed to, that's the rumor, is that they're supposed to be getting these done this year because there's a writer's strike at the end of next year that would put any kind of thing in production halt. So they want to try to get them filmed and done. So this way they're ready to go and out. And if there's a gap or a strike, that they have these things already in the can ready to go.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll see how
so, I mean, I'm anticipating we're definitely like, I think that little JJ movie that he just left will be announced. I don't know what the other two are going to be, if it's going to be the Taika movie and something else or what, but I'm hoping that like we get a whole slate of stuff that like is cut, like give us Mando season 4, give us Boba season 2, give us Kenobi season 2, and like those shows are successful, you know, you can move forward with those products. Like,
sounds good to me.
Yeah, he says it's a mini series, The New Justified. I'll see, because I read in the same article they said that they didn't get canceled the last time.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they basically just like wanted to end on a high. So we'll see if like
they're interested. Bring it back.
Yeah. No, they won all kinds of awards for that show, and like I keep hoping like they bring Deadwood back, because like he was awesome in Deadwood too. And that's why they cast that the bartender they did for Freetown, because they were co-stars in Deadwood.
Yeah,
that's true.
All righty, all right, you guys.
What about Willow? Are we voting for Willow to come back?
Oh man, I was so disappointed when I heard like that it's getting canceled supposedly.
Yeah, but
I enjoyed
came back on and said no, that's not the case. Not that he's the authority, but he's like, we're on a break.
I still yet to hear anything more, because then I heard that Iger supposedly put a mandate to Lucasfilm, like, hey, after the next indie movie comes out, we only want you working on Star Wars. We don't want you guys doing all these other things like Willow and Indy and all this. I don't know. And I could see that having, like, I'm under the belief the indie figures line had an effect on the Star Wars line this year, like them going and doing that.
Sure.
Willow's taking a break indefinitely.
Yeah, I wish it would come back. I enjoyed the first season of Willow. It was fun for me while Andor was draining the life out of me. Like it was something that was fun and lighthearted and had
Sure.
me enjoying
only-
watching it.
The
as
only
well, like,
reason, the only reason they said that they aren't canceled and they're taking a break is just to stop everybody from being upset.
yeah.
Well, it worked. And
Yeah.
let's
So now everybody's got some hope in the back of their mind. Not going to
keep hope
happen.
alive.
Well, they
That's
had
right.
they teased you at the end of the first season. There's a shot where
Yeah.
they pan in on the shelf and the book goes on the shelf, and there's 2 more chapters that they had planned.
Yeah.
So like this
gonna be
overall
a
story
trilogy.
was supposed to be 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, they're not
I
going to
don't
spend
know.
any
I mean,
money on the season
it's
2.
tough when you do take a product that's like from the 80s that only it wasn't like a popular movie. It was another like cult type following type thing.
Mhm.
So like that's a tough thing to take 40 years later, 40 years later, and then
That's
recreate for a new audience that doesn't remember.
It is.
This not
And you
being
have to sell it to a
a-
new audience because the old audience wasn't that big. So you introduce it to a young adult audience, which is what they were doing. I mean, I watched it in the first
And it
episode.
went
I
nowhere.
realized, oh, this is like the CW model. I don't watch those shows, but
Yeah.
I can at least understand what it is. And once I understood that, then I got on board for the ride, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. These are light. These are adventurous. They're
Yep.
humorous. They use modern language to appeal to modern people. So once you kind of understand that and stop thinking, why isn't this like the original? It's something new.
Like it's
the
medieval
next-
times or
Just-
Game of
just
Thrones.
didn't take
Right.
off.
Yeah.
It just didn't take off. Not enough people were interested, and just saying like it's canceled. It's. I don't think you're ever going to hear those words again from them when they stop
I don't
doing
know.
the show. They're just going to
Maybe.
say this show is going on a hiatus. And that's just so they don't have to hear any
Well,
backlash.
sure. Why hurt the fan base by telling them it's over? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like I really liked the chick that played Kit. She was great in Mayor of Easttown with that was on HBO Max. I had no issues with any of that. To me, it didn't matter.
Was hilarious. Yeah. Good cast.
She was great. The girl from Solo, like, give her more stuff. Get her in more projects, please. Like, she's fantastic.
She is
fantastic.
Yep, she is. She was good in Winter Soldier too.
And you know who really impressed me in that?
We're not going to talk about Winter Soldier next.
No,
the dude who played Flash Thompson in the Spider-Man movies, like, he was very good in real life.
Yeah, he was good.
And he showed a great range that he did not show in those Spider-Man movies.
Yep, he did. And where they left his character off is really intriguing. What decisions he's going to make next? Yeah,
very intriguing. So, like, I wish it would come back. I know the overall plan involved Val Kilmer, and then when that couldn't happen, that kind of put a real wrench in things. But
still, CGI, there's things they could do. It could still happen.
Yeah.
But I like how they handled it all the same.
Yeah. Like, if that's it, at least that first season, it's a good bookend. You know what I mean? To the original.
It is. Yeah. Okay, well, talk done.
We went over our 2 hours because Waze continues to like bring up other subjects that we weren't going to talk about at all today. But anyways, thanks for sitting in for Sean Solo, Ways of the Sith. You can get to his YouTube channel. It's in the description of this show. And Steve-O from Collecting Star Wars, thanks for coming in and being part of the group and sharing with us today. And your channel link is also in the comments. Not the comments, but the channel's description. So make sure everybody goes through. And if you haven't subscribed to this, please subscribe. Anyways, So also want to thank everybody in the chat for showing up like you do and participating in the conversation. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and then
today was a lot of fun. We just went straight through.
Yeah. And if you guys missed anything about all the Star Wars theory that I have like absolutely no input in, you can feel free to watch the episode over, or on come Monday, you can listen to it in your car because it will be a podcast.
Vern's not existing takes on Bad Batch and Star Wars information.
But anyways, we really appreciate everybody for coming by and watching, and thanks you guys for joining me this week on the Toy Duo.
Thanks for
having
us.
See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
He's an action figure poser, which means posing action figures is his specialty. Sean Solo 8 and it's Vern from OakhurstStudios, who is a master at complaining about pretty much everything. And together,